Welcome to Friday Night Football. Kinnick style here as the Kanto playing champions to get ready to suit it up against the Zama Trojans. Kinnick coming off their fourth Kanto playing championship with a win against ASIJ last week, are home for their final game tonight. And they're playing the Zama Trojans, who played them tough when we were away. And John, you got to know that they're going to be trying to knock off the champions tonight.
Oh, absolutely. About 3 years ago, Zama came in here and beat us 7-0. We were undefeated at the time. That was our only loss. The kids were a little overconfident. I don't think that's going to happen tonight. They want to go out with a victory and submit the championship of all Japan.
We had a little bit of Queen music playing earlier, and that we are the champions, but we'll keep fighting to the end, and that is the key tonight. How much fight are the Devils going to give against the Zama Trojans? And again, when you're the champion, and it's been dictated, and as John alluded to, we had that situation a couple of years ago where we came in with an unblemished record, hoping to go undefeated in football action, and Zama was the team that made sure we didn't. And we want to be careful tonight, but I'll tell you, our team is very focused, very focused. I was out behind the dugout where they normally warm up, and they were, like, really intent. They didn't want to talk. They just wanted to get after some football, and we're getting ready to get it underway right now. Matt Engstrand to kick the ball off, and he's going to put some foot on that one. It's going to go down and past the 30 to the 25 and to the 20 where it's tipped. And it looks like the Zama player's got some running room and out to the outside and still on his feet at the 50, almost the 50-yard line to the 48. And I didn't get the number, but...
That's 81, Richard Ball on that tackle.
Richard Ball on the tackle. Didn't see who was on the carry there. But it looked like number... I want to say it was number 21, but I can't be sure. Now, I want to just stress to the fans at home, we're going to have to be a little patient. We don't have the lineup in number sequence tonight for Zama, so as they get them, we'll look them up, and we'll get better as we go along.
Yeah, we haven't mentioned it, but we have a lot of wind out here tonight. It's the coldest night of the year. Wind's definitely going to be a factor as it's blowing fairly strongly.
We got to see in the JV game some balls take a right-hand turn. The wind is straight out of the north tonight, and coming down on a very cold front, and it's going to affect the players not only from the passing game, but also it is very chilly, and they're going to need to stay warm tonight. And that's one thing we haven't seen this year.
Yeah. Kinnick gets a break. There's a penalty thrown back on about the 22-yard line, so that's going to back them up down right around the 10-yard line or so. So a great break in field position for the Red Devils.
Yeah, it really is, because it was a nice return, and unfortunately we can't dictate who that was, but nice return, but hey, he may have had it because of the penalty, so we don't know.
Yeah, probably an illegal block or clip or something on that.
Something we've seen quite a bit in Kanto playing action tonight is the blocks on runs. So anyway, Kinnick's going to take over on defense here. The ball looks about the 11-yard line, so deep for Zama. And it's going to be a running play, which we expect to see a lot of tonight.
St. Augustine.
St. Augustine, yeah. St. Augustine, 44, you'll see him quite a bit tonight. And we expect the run to be prevalent tonight, unless the wind is at Kinnick's back. And then Barney Rio said he may take a couple shots.
We're not going to switch yet.
It's all set up. All we got to do, theoretically, is plug it in. Okay, Kinnick, second down. Against the run to the left-hand or right-hand side.
St. Augustine again. 64 on the tackle.
And that's going to bring up a third down at 5 yards, or actually about 7 yards as we look at the marker. So Kinnick defense, which has been strong all year, able to come up with a good stop there as St. Augustine had no room on the right-hand side.
Stephen Francisco with that tackle.
So third down and 7. The spread formation, two-back set, and that ball is incomplete. Kinnick's going to be able to receive a punt here as Zama on their first series of down goes nowhere. And we got to emphasize, when we were at the Zama game last time, defense was key all night long. Kinnick came away with the victory at Zama, and actually it kind of was one of the victories that propelled them towards their Kanto playing championship. But by the same token, defense, it was 6-6 at the half, if you recall.
That's right. Yeah.
And very, very tough. So
We should come out with good field position here. In fact, we don't have anybody back. We're going for the block.
And it's very close to being blocked. If it wasn't touched, it was very close, and everyone's getting out of the way, which is the right thing to do. And Kinnick going to take over at their own 19-yard line on the first carry, first downs from scrimmage of the game. So
it's about an 8-yard punt going into that wind. You can see the ball just went up and hung, actually came back.
Right. That's exactly what happened.
So the wind is definitely going to be a big, big factor tonight.
Okay, we're going to try and get on with Gary's Sink here in a minute. We may experience some technical difficulties. We're going to wait until we get a breaking downs here, but be patient with us as we got to try and get one more person on here.
Soriano with the ball.
Soriano with a good carry, and he's actually hit in the back by the Zama defender, which propelled him forward for about 4 yards, and they're down to the 10-yard line. And a nice carry. Actually, that's going to be close to a first down.
He's going to bring up a second and about 2 here for the Red Devils. Knocking on the door already in this game. Very early in the first quarter.
So, Kinnick, what we're going to see a lot of is the I formation here. What we've got, Daniel Ayers under center. He's going to hand to the first back through, which is Engstrand. He's going to be close to the first down if he didn't get it. And a nice effort by Engstrand as he is able to power forward, and it looks like it's going to be real close. And they're indicating it is a first down.
Well, just outside the 10-yard line, Devils first and 10.
Couldn't get any worse. Okay, so it looks like Soriano with a carry towards the goal line, and he's very close to being in down to the 2-yard line.
Kinnick's running game is in sync tonight. It's just they've had 3 runs and picked up good yardage in all of them.
Well, I think that Barney Rio was saying that one of the things they didn't do enough of with the spread formation was go off tackle in the Zama game. They tried to power ahead quite a bit and were unable to get a whole lot done. But we're in the I formation here. To the right side looks like Cleary, and it is. And that's actually going to be Engstrand tackled for a loss on that play.
Yeah, a little mix-up on the handoff there. Wasn't very clean, and Engstrand never had a chance to get going. Ended up losing a couple of yards. It's going to be 3rd and goal from about the 5-yard line.
Okay, 3rd and goal from the 5. Got a shotgun by Ayers. 3 wideouts to the right-hand side. He's rolling out to the right. He's got a pitch out to Engstrand, who's going to get the touchdown easily, and that's going to be 6-0 Kinnick.
Beautifully executed play. Engstrand was never touched on that.
Already proving why they are the Kanto Plain champions.
I think we'll see the Red Devils go for 2 here, as they're not going to try to kick
I think that's pretty much in the cards for the Red Devils.
Now they're lining up to kick.
Lining up to kick. It would be with the wind at Engstrand's back, and he gets it.
Right through the middle, perfect. The Red Devils go up 7-0 at the 8:36 mark in the first quarter.
Okay, so we'll take a timeout here. Are you live? You hear me? I can't hear you.
I can't hear you. Can you hear me? There you go.
Speak now. Forever hold your peace. Okay, everybody but Gary is all right. Little feedback, kind of what we see when we have to. Okay, Gary, you with us?
There's a good run back by Zama.
Okay, so we're going to go with a little audio difficulty here for a minute, and then we'll work that out. But basically what we've got is the plug-in at the last moment to try and get one more person on, but it's not a big deal. We're going to try and get it worked out, and we'll get back with you. So if you don't have audio, just you'll know that Kinnick was successful on both the touchdown and the extra point attempt, and Zama's ready to run, and that Kinnick defense, which has been fierce all year long, is able to drag down. It looked like Augustine again, and it is. St. Augustine drugged down, and it was a combination of Ayers and Phil Fitzpatrick on there.
Down.
Brings up second. And about 18, 19.
Now we're ready to go. I think it seems like we're ready for live action here. We'll have to be real careful with how we go, and want to welcome Gary Sink to the conversation tonight. And Gary's going to be kind of filling in for Bob Long and kind of talking about some of the things that have gone on in the recent MWR parade of things. So, Gary, welcome to you.
Well, great to be here.
Okay, now we're seeing a penalty. I didn't see exactly what the penalty was, John. Did you catch that?
No, we were busy playing with these boxes.
I didn't know what grabbed the wrist and go like that was, but looked like illegal shift or something, and it's going to be a 5-yard penalty. And as if Zama didn't need that, they're already facing a 2nd down and 20, and things not clicking very well for Zama. Now, Gary, did you get a chance to see that touchdown?
I did. I tell you, it's wonderful. Kinnick's playing some great ball tonight.
That throw is going to be over the head of the intended receiver, and that's going to be number 80 on the play, and that's Burt Matthews.
Richard Ball on defense, number 81 for Kinnick.
Burt Matthews unable to come up with this. It was probably, what you say, John, 2 yards, 3 yards over his head. But
amazing, seeing as how they threw into the wind.
Yeah. Hey, but you got to give him credit. I mean, and now here's going to be a team, I think, and Gary, you saw Zama. You went to the game, and it's one of the reasons why we have you on here tonight. You were at that game, and what do you see about that first effort with the run and Kinnick there with putting up the first touchdown?
Well, I'll tell you what the defense is telling the tale tonight. It's they're really bearing down on Zama right now. Zama's going to have to come up with another game plan, it looks like.
Zama back to pass. And he got a man open, but he's going to have to truck a long way to get near the first down as he gets back to close to the original line of scrimmage out at about the 48-yard line. And that was number 96, and I'm going to try and find out who that was. It looked like Jonathan Bisa.
That was a well-thrown ball by the quarterback for Zama in this wind.
Well, Alexander Miller's the quarterback typically, and I haven't been able to get the number yet, but that's who threw that pass, and Bisa.
Yeah, number 8's the quarterback for Zama.
Okay, number 8 tonight. And that kick actually hit the back of a Zama player, and the Kinnick's going to get out of the way and get some good field position as Marcus Berry is the quarterback tonight for Zama. So we're kind of getting things ironed out here as we go along. But Kinnick going to take over an excellent field position from their own 48.5-yard line.
That's about a 3-yard punt for them.
So, Gary, anything coming up for MWR there?
Well, I'll tell you, we got the MWR Mardi Gras coming up, actually Friday, November the 27th, from 6 until at the Thue Gym.
6 until, question mark, question mark, question mark. So come on out and support that I formation. Soriano, the ball carrier, gets up to about the 49-yard line where he's pushed back, so no gain on the play of any consequence for the Kinnick Red Devils. Going to bring up 2nd and 10.
Yeah, Zama stepped their defense up there and stopped that one cold.
Ponemeyer and also Ian Tyson check in for the Red Devils. Now, this is one of the things that we may see a lot of in the midfield area. We may see them try and hold up and check up and put a lot of men up on the line of scrimmage. And as you see, there's about 7 men in the box right now for Zama. Ponemeyer with the carry. He's going to get about a gain of about 1.5 yards on the play, but there's a flag right at our feet as we're announcing to you on the 50-yard line, and we'll have to check that and get back to you.
It's going to be an offsides or illegal procedure.
Illegal procedure, the call. I'm going to back up the Devils 5 yards if Zama chooses to take it. Now, John, if you're the coach, do you take this penalty?
I don't think I'd take this one.
I think I'd decline as well, being as that you're still third and long no matter what you do, and they are going to take it, which shows why we're not coaching.
Well, they want to get field position, so backing them up and hoping to hold them maybe.
Well, we see the Kinnick Red Devils do nothing but the run thus far, huh, Gary?
I tell you, they're sticking with the ground game, and they're probably going to have to change their game plan here pretty soon also. And here we
Ayers back to pass with the wind at his back, unloads a huge rocket and dropped actually through the hands of Ian Tyson. It hit him right in the gut.
Right on the numbers.
The worst place. Right in the bullseye, and that's going to bring up third down. But Ian's got nothing to be ashamed of because he caught the Kanto plane winning championship pass, so we're not going to diss him too hard on that.
I tell you, and Ayers threw a really good ball.
Oh, rocket.
Boy, he dropped way back. He must have thrown that ball 50 yards.
Well, that was also about a 7-step drop. That's a pro set drop there as he went way back to get room for that. I formation again for the Kinnick Red Devils, 3rd and 15. Ayers rolls out, shakes off a defender, coming to the near sideline, got room at the 50, and cuts it up, and he's still on his feet, and he's going to be down about the 36-yard line where they call him out, and that's going to be enough for a first down.
Now they're marking it back on the 40.
Another ref came in and stepped up and said it was a little bit short of that, but it's still a first down either way, and it's going to be 1st and 10 for the Kinnick High School Red Devils as they're able to move the ball to the 40-yard line.
That was an excellent run by Ayers, but did you see that block Engstrom?
Oh,
wonderful. Boy, just laid a guy out there to spring him open.
Well, I put in the paper this week that he did everything last week but drive the bus, and I'll tell you, definitely the team MVP this year, no question about it. Ayers gets ready to take the snap, and the I formation to the near side is
Soriano with the ball.
Fritz, and then Soriano with the ball. He gets down to about the 38-yard line on a decent carry because you're going to try and keep him honest. And he was able to pick up a couple of yards, call it about a 2.5-yard gain. Going to be 2nd down and 7.5. Call it 7 for the Kinnick Red Devils.
I'll tell you, Rob, in this win tonight, it's no wonder they're not putting the ball up in the air as much as they are, but the ground game is one thing, but, Kinnick, they've got a dynamite passing game also.
Single back set, 4 wideouts in motion comes Engstrom. And that's going to be a handoff to him, and this is a sweep they like to run, and it's a good play as he's still on his feet past the 30-yard line, and that's going to bring another first down Kinnick's way.
Good run by Engstrom. Spin move there to free him open.
Smith on the stop. Move those chains, boys.
That's another first down for Kinnick as they're putting a pretty impressive drive together here.
It certainly was. I tell you, it's a wonderful drive. The blocking right now is what's telling the tale. That front line is really moving them out right now.
Yeah, they're getting great blocking on the front line, and also the running backs are blocking well for each other.
And as Barney Rio was saying, that's a part of the game he's most satisfied with as Air takes the quarterback keeper and moves ahead for another nice gain.
Pickup of about 5 yards.
Now, what we didn't tell the folks is we're experiencing about a crosswind of about 30 knots tonight.
It's a pretty stiff wind, and I also want to let people know that we're going to have Dave Ornauer up with Gary and John. Dave doing a good job calling the plays, so I'm going to step aside for the first quarter of the year. Ayers hands off to Ponemeyer. Huge hole. Out to the right-hand side, down to I want to call it about the 13-yard line where he's drugged down on a beautiful run with an opening that you could have drove a damn bus through.
Well, that's the truth, I tell you. And the blocking out front is what really impresses me tonight, Rob. I just can't believe it. The running backs, like you were saying earlier, are doing an excellent job, and I'll tell you what, the front tackle and the guard are moving people out on that line.
So, John, what do you see that's different from here and last time against Zama?
Well, we're fired up this time. We are controlling the line of scrimmage. Last game, it was kind of seesaw back and forth. In fact, Zama put the best drive against us all year on their first drive of the game.
High formation. That pitch is going to the near back, and that looks as far back, and that's Soriano who's got room, and he took a hard hit at the 3-yard line where he's out of bounds, and that's going to be a beautiful effort by Kinnick as they're going to be able to move the ball nearer to the goal line, and it's going to bring up a 2nd and goal from the 3. And they can get a first down here. They need to get to about the, I call it, what, the 2-yard line there, John?
Looks like about the 2, and they're right at it.
Second down.
In fact,
they're calling that a first down. They're saying he moved it ahead, and this is Engstrom territory. Let's see what they do, and that's the first thing they do is hand it to Matt. And Matt is actually taken for a loss of about 2 yards on the play.
Well, that's the same play they ran on the first drive, and it worked just about as well. They better scrap that one tonight.
The first back through is not working for them right now. So but they've been able to juggle their plays right now. And I tell you, Kinnick's doing an excellent job of moving the ball downfield.
Now, John, let me ask you this: how much does it affect the play since we've got a break in the action here, and it looks like Zama's going to get a timeout? We see our running backs doing well, but how much is Matt Engstrom as the first back through contributing to that blocking effort to make those holes? Where on that last play we saw he's the first back through and doesn't have that. He doesn't have a Matt Engstrom blocking for himself.
Yeah, that's true. And our success has been coming off tackles and going wide, and Engstrom's more up the middle runner, and they're stopping that. They're keying on that tonight. That's not going anywhere. So we need to keep going to the outside and use Engstrom as a blocking back.
Right.
Exactly.
So it's interesting football here tonight. I want to tell you it's 3:20 left in the first quarter. If you're watching at home, this is the last game of the 1998 championship season for the Kinnick Red Devils. Last week at ASIJ, I just want to recap for you some of the events that surrounded that victory. Kinnick was down with 8 minutes left in the game. They've got 2 touchdowns that they must have to win the game. With 5 minutes and 30 seconds left, we're able to get a touchdown off tackle by Soriano and then come back with 2 minutes and 20 seconds left to play on a long pass to Ian Tyson to take the lead and hold on. And I want to tell you, if you weren't there, it was just an impressive victory. Back in the I formation, back to live action. Ayers under center, hands to the second back through. Soriano finds a hole, but he's met and hit hard. It looked like number 39 in on that tackle. And let me find his number for you, and that would be Quentin.
Yeah, that play didn't go anywhere either, so it's...
So Quentin with a nice stop there. Well, he had a hole, but Quentin stepped into it and was able to hit him in a nice open field tackle there as Soriano was untouched the first few yards out of the backfield. So they gain about a yard out of that, and they're going to call their own timeout as Barney Rio wants them to come over and let's discuss this, because one of the things that Kinnick wants to do tonight for sure is when they can get the ball in, get it done. They don't want to get in a game where it's close. Fire Zama up.
Well, that's true. Now, I'll tell you, while we have an opportunity, I'd like to congratulate the Kinnick Red Devils volleyball team tonight. Went up to Zama and put 4 matches under the belt.
Lady Devils in a 4-match set took 3 to get the victory, and I'll tell you, one of the most exciting volleyball games I've ever seen is when Zama was up here early in the season. Bob Long and I called that game, and they came down 2-0. They went down, came back, won the last 3 on an exciting match there, so I can anticipate what that was like, and we're going to bring that to you on C-Face 7, a division of your MWR. Have 3... basically 3 players in a loaded gun formation to the right-hand side, heavy loaded to the right-hand side. Ayers in the shotgun getting ready to take the snap.
I haven't been to all the games, but I haven't seen this formation before.
We played it last week against ASIJ, and it was successful on a couple, and then several also backfired. Ayers running deep into the infield, and that's a catch, and is that Calhoun?
Mike Calhoun.
And that's what we have to congratulate Mike Calhoun. He had a touchdown called back at Iwakuni, and he was just about an inch away from a touchdown last week, and he gets his touchdown this year, and his mother's got to be just jacked, and that had to be decided. Look at her on the sideline. We can't pan that way, but I'll tell you what, she is just totally jacked. As the Calhoun family has been at every game this year looking for Mike to get something going, and he was injured during the middle of the year, and you got to give him a lot of credit as he came back and got that touchdown. Ayers with the kick. and that's going to go through, and that's going to be 14-0. And with the wind at their back, Kinnick choosing to take the 1-point conversion, and it brings it to 14-0. And Kinnick showing why they are the Kanto Plain champions as they put up an early 14 on Zama.
And getting back to Potato for just a minute, Mike Calhoun, he's one of the few players that's a 4-year player here. He started in 9th grade and graduating here, and we don't have that many of them do that.
Very rare, very rare. But one thing Potato can say for himself is that he does not know what it's like not to be a champion.
That's true.
So with 3:13, we want to get some MWR action in here. Gary's going to talk about a few things here. We've got some karaoke coming up from what I understand there, Gary.
Well, I'll tell you, it's every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. At the Club Alliance. I'll tell you, it's just another thing brought to you by your MWR. You know, and they do an excellent job, Rob. They've got so many events coming up. We have the Monster Bingo.
Oh, I want to talk about that now.
I'll tell you, the last time I think somebody won the 40 grand big prize.
Single person, 40K. And what would you do with 40K?
Well, the first thing I do is divorce the old lady.
40 grand, and we're not suggesting that you leave your spouse, but the thought may cross your mind, huh? Okay, that kicks away, and that's past the 30 at the 30-yard line. That looks like it's picked.
I guess it was whistle.
They're calling him down.
Yeah.
They said his knee went down. I don't think it did.
It didn't look like it, but you know what? He did make that, lunging effort to pick up the ball, and the officials saying, hey, it looked close enough, and they're going to call him back. And who are we to argue when it goes in our favor?
That's right.
I'll tell you, speaking of that Monster Bingo again, Rob, there's $100,000 in cash prizes, guaranteed.
Yeah,
and,
guaranteed. Yeah.
And, it's brought to you by your MWR. It's going to be Saturday, November the 28th.
Kinnick takes on defense again, hands off. That looked like San Augustine again. He has a little room, and actually he put his shoulder down and was able to turn up for about a 5-yard gain as he gets pushed out about the 35-yard line. And the last couple of yards was total effort as he dived in to pick that effort up, pick those 5 yards up.
Ray Ponemeyer forcing him out on that. Had help from Ariel Zamora. Number one's the quarterback in there now for Zama. Is that Alexander?
No, we don't have a number one. Is T.J. Decker.
Okay, it's T.J. Decker.
So not satisfied with the performance.
Well, now they brought Ray back in. So switching quarterbacks. Little Florida strategy here.
Marcus Berry, the quarterback now. And coming over and tackling him immediately on a beautiful play was Daniel Ayers as he jumped over the line and hit him. And
landed on him more than hit him.
Yeah. Basically gave him nowhere to go, and Ayers didn't let go, and that was a great defensive effort as that brings up a 3rd and 10 for the Zama Trojans, a loss of 5 on the play. And Daniel Ayers basically catapulted himself over the defensive line and landed almost about in time to get the handoff.
Well, that's true. That redefines the word blitz.
So from the linebacker position, that was a great play. 3rd and 10 now for the Zama Trojans, and the spread set. 2 backs. Barry's looking to throw and has nothing, and he's met and just hammered to the turf by Matt Engstrom, who had some real turf that he wanted him to meet. And I'll tell you, Engstrom came in there, and he blew through the line.
Yeah, and Kinnick's going to come out with good field position here, a chance to put another touchdown on the board here.
And you know what? They have nobody back again. So they've seen something in film, obviously, or something from the last game that leads them to believe they do not need to put him in back.
And I know Ian Thomas is going back. Big thing's the wind. You're just not going to kick the ball.
Tyson is back, and he's not back very far, and that is true to the wind. And that ball is going to be short of him again and actually blows back and rolls to the sideline. And it looked like we may have had a Kinnick person. Looked like Richard Ball was trying to get to it but couldn't. But it's going to be 1st and 10 for Kinnick. And you know what, though, John? We turn the wind around. We could easily have 21 from them. I mean, if you got to get rid of the ball in this wind, you're going to be hating it. And actually, Matt Engstrom, he's a good kicker. We've seen that this year, but that's going to be tough to punt against because, I mean, we're talking about 30 miles an hour.
Well, Matt will kick it a little farther than the Zama punters kick it, the way he kicks.
Well, he's a little bit healthier individual.
But when Zama gets the wind, you're going to see him put it in the air quite a bit.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking, especially trailing by 2 touchdowns. They're going to be wanting to get something out of it. Soriano's got room, but unfortunately couldn't cut back to the midfield area, and he's drugged down.
St. Augustine, number 4.
St. Augustine playing both ways like most of the Kinnick players do, able to come up with a nice tackle to the near side of the field.
And a lot of good sportsmanship there on number 44. I tell you, he helped Soriano off the deck, and, outstanding.
And it's good you notice that, Gary, because one of the things between most of the Kanto playing teams is good sportsmanship. They're out here trying to do things, and they all understand what everyone's going through. I formation for the Kinnick Red Devils. Ayers hands to the first back through. Engstrom found a hole but was drugged down from behind, and it looked like number 72 on a tackle for the Zama Trojans, and that's going to be Justin Roth.
Engstrom actually lost that ball. It's picked up by number 50 for Kinnick.
50 is Phil Fitzpatrick, who able to come up with that recovery there. And Phil is playing at the outside tackle position. Left tackle.
Kinnick right now is playing like the 4-time Kanto playing champions. They're really moving the ball.
Good point. Ayers looks to throw. He's looking deep. Had some, and that's where the ball is going to sail behind him, and he hasn't, let's face it, had the chance to really gauge the wind, but that's where you're going to see the ball just take off, because when the wind gets underneath it, it is going to sail. Intended for, looked like Rextini Andrade.
It was 81, Richard Ball.
Oh, Richard Ball, okay, who checks back into the huddle. Ian Tyson as well coming in.
4th down.
Loaded gun again for the Kinnick Red Devils to the right-hand side, rolling out with the block is Engstrom on there, and Ayers escapes and eludes a tackle with a beautiful effort. He's still on his feet, but hit down hard right at the first down marker, it looked like. It'll be interesting how they call this, was Ayers. If they give him his forward momentum, he's going to be very close. And he's going to be about a half-yard short, maybe. They're saying first down, though.
First down.
And excellent effort by Ayers, which, John, we've seen all year long, haven't we?
Absolutely. He's hard to bring down.
A lanky kid. He's just not some power-built guy like Engstrom, but he's very elusive and very quick. And he's able to, kind of juke his way out of problems. So we're going to get back to... maybe not. We're going to get to a first down, end of the quarter. Okay, we're going to be able to have Dave Ornauer come up. He's going to be doing the play-by-play as I'm going to step away for the first quarter this year, John.
Well, no, actually, you stepped away for the second quarter at Zama.
Yeah, okay, that's good. I needed to do that.
So it's just continuing the Zama tradition.
Well, I'll tell you, Kinnick is really looking good right now. I see just everything that they've worked for this year. Daniel Ayers is doing his thing on the field, and, you can see where the coaching is really coming through right now. But Rob was right earlier by saying that when we change sides of the field, I'm sure that Zama is going to put it right up in the air and try to get right back in this ball game.
Yeah, their quarterback can throw, so we're going to see them air it out when they get it.
Well, we'd like to take this opportunity to tell you that
Ayers has him up to the line. Gives
Okay.
Soriano. Nothing there.
Yes, nothing for Soriano on that particular carry, but...
In fact, negative 2 yards on that.
Yeah, it looked like he got, basically they read the play. So we're looking at second down now. Actually, probably a loss of about 3 on that. Going to bring second down and goal. Or not quite goal. Going to be needing to get to the 3-yard line. Ayers under center. I formation. Engstrom and Ponemeyer. Ponemeyer we haven't heard from much. He's going to throw on second down. Has a man, Calhoun, and it was tapped away at the last moment as Calhoun was open and had some room to run had he caught the ball, but going to bring up a third down, and
That was good defense.
Close.
That was good defense by Zama on that play.
He got a fingernail on it to knock it away. Okay, so that's going to bring up a third down and about, we'll call it 13. Need to get to the 1 yard line, basically. Can get a first down, but probably not likely here as we're so close to the goal line. And Ayers in trouble, and the ball's free, and that's on the ground, and San Augustine falls on it, and that's the first miscue by Kinnick tonight as they're able to, Zama's able to get on the ball and move.
Yeah, it looked like Kinnick was trying to run a little trick play there, had everybody to the right, he went left, but St. Augustine was right there to stop him.
Yeah, and Ayers had really nowhere to go, unfortunately.
So Zama dodged a bullet. Instead of being down 20 or 21 to nothing, it's just 14 to nothing. Now they have the wind to their back.
Yeah, Camp Zama now trying to get something going on offense. They have the wind at their back.
Looked like some movement there, but no flag.
No flag, and off to the right-hand side goes, look like San Augustine again.
No flag on the play.
No flag. I saw what you did. It looked like there was some movement, but it may have been pretty close. And there's a flag thrown.
Pressure in the ball, and it falls in.
It's a good pass. Number 80 couldn't come up with it. Richard Ball on defense. We got a flag. It's probably going to be holding.
Looks like it will be.
It's thrown in that area, but we'll wait on the official for the call.
There seems to be a flag on the
And it is holding.
Yes, Zama Trojans will take the ball back.
So with second, looks like now second down and about, let's call it.
Well, they're going to mark the penalty off here.
Go. Yeah, go. Okay, we're having audio difficulty here. We want to apologize to the people at home. Going to step away for a moment to see if I can help clear this up. I'm going to hand my headset to, actually we got another headset coming in.
Anyway, game situation. It's 2nd and 11 for Zama. Balling around the 30-yard line.
There you go. Got some good play-by-play from John Liner, and I'm going to let him go on with it.
Barry back to pass. He's under a hard rush, and he throws it anyway. Incomplete. But what a rush by Kinnick on that play.
Could have been real close to intentional grounding. I didn't see anyone over there that could have been intended a receiver.
Yeah, that could have been called.
But since it wasn't, it doesn't matter, and we've got Gary back, and I think we all sound good, and actually we've got no hum or hiss or anything else, so we're going to be able to bring you some stuff back here that's going to be real good. As with the audio quality, we're going to get a timeout. With the improvement in audio quality, we're going to get a timeout.
I'll tell you what, there's no chance that any kind of electricity can go through these defective equipment.
Only if your name's Gary and you're
That's
broadcasting on Friday. So
just another reason why your MWR is working for you.
want to give some notice to our cameraman tonight, Skylar Hernstrom from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, doing a great job for us tonight.
Always.
I'm going to step away for a little while. I'm going to let Dave Ornauer do what he does best, which is play-by-play for high school football. And he's going to take over play-by-play, and I'm going to take a break.
Welcome, Dave.
Hey,
welcome.
How's it going, everybody?
Not bad. How's that wind down there on the sideline?
It's a bit stiff, I'll tell you, and chilly. But you know that's typical November weather down here, and typical football weather, I guess. Everywhere that you go, a celebration of Kinnick's 4 championships.
Yeah, I've seen you let that hair grow pretty long today.
Indeed, I have. Okay, but it's Kinnick's turn to have the wind in their face, as the Trojans facing 3rd and 12 at the 29-yard line.
3rd and 12,
Barry, who's taken kind of a beating tonight. The Trojans with just 2 yards in offense. There's San Augustine looking, I think, to throw, but he's wrestled out of bounds. And a few pushes and shoves over there on that far sideline, and a flag flies. I think we might have a face mask over there, John.
Could be. Ayers was over there, and he and St. Augustine got into a little shoving match.
Yeah, they did.
And I believe you're right. That was an option pass. I think he was going to try to throw that ball.
Well, I'll tell you, it was great pursuit on Kinnick's part.
All right, let's see what the signal is. They're still talking about it over on the far side. The loss back to the 24-yard line. It will be a personal foul face mask against Kinnick, and that will be a 15-yarder.
And a first down.
Automatic first down on those personal foul varieties, and that will take the ball up to the 45-yard line, where it will be 1st and 10, and the Trojans are finally on the move.
Well, it's their best field position all night, I believe.
Much of the play has been in the Trojans' end of the field.
Well, the wind has definitely been a factor here, and no doubt about that. The short punts that they had.
Bunch of people up there at the line of scrimmage for the Devils as they try to stanch this drive, and now we've got a little bit of
illegal procedure there in Zama. It'll cost them 5.
Yep, took too many liberties that time. And that'll march them back to the 40-yard line, where it will be 1st and 15. As the Devils catch a break there. 14-0 the score so far, with 10 minutes, 18 seconds remaining in the first half of the final regular season game here at Berkey by the Bay. Marcus Berry under center. Devils pinning their ears back again. Here comes the rush. Berry's flushed again, and Zamora nails him at the 30-yard line.
Great rush by Ariel Zamora there. And they're not giving Berry any time to set up and throw. He's running for his life.
You know, that's that defense for you. They are smaller than the Trojans, but they just pin their ears back and go.
What do you think? You think they're going to start putting it in the air?
I tell you, they've got the wind at their back. This is the time to do it.
Well, they're trying to. He's not having time. They're going to have to run a draw or some sort of counter play.
A screen pass.
Yeah, to stop this rush.
That's the kind of thing you need to do, or a quick look into the tight end.
A little bit of help from that front line.
2nd and 25. Here's Berry on the drop once again. A wobbly pass in the air. It is through the hands and incomplete. Nathan Smith down there on the right sideline. And it looks like the Kinnick defender back there kind of stumbled a little bit. Dominic Cleary's limping off the field some.
Yeah, that ball should have been caught.
Through the hands of Nathan Smith.
It was underthrown, but Nathan Smith did the right thing, came back for it, hit him right in the gut.
Can't make much better play than that as a wide receiver and not make the catch. Beza split to the right. Matthews to the left on 3rd and 25. Berry on the drop, throws deep to Matthews. It is through his hands, incomplete. Back there, Tyson and Richard Ball on defense. They were the guys who did it last week against ASIJ in the closing moments.
That was a well-thrown ball there. Good defense by the Red Devils, though.
Just a little bit of hard luck on that one. And Cleary celebrating a birthday, I might add. A happy birthday to Dominic. And we hope that his leg gets a little bit better. A punting down, 4th and 25 for the Trojans. And I think they'll get better punting distance this time as Nathan Smith is back to receive the snap. It's a good one. Here's the kick. It's high, end over end. Tyson back there for it. And it will be downed at the 29-yard line, where the Devils will take over 1st and 10.
And like you said, a much better punt that time.
Definitely. That time, a 41-yard punt.
Well, that's the difference in the wind.
The Devils have not had to punt. On the other hand, the Trojans with their 4th punt of the ball game. And the Devils at their 29-yard line taking over.
And the first 3 punts didn't go anywhere close to 41 yards combined.
Nope.
I'll tell you, the defense of the Devils, they really impressed me tonight.
As they've done all season long. Now we have a whistle and a flag down. Might have had a little bit of interior movement that time, as spotted by the the linesman on the far side of the field. It is illegal procedure. So they'll back up the Devils 5 more yards to the 24-yard line, where it will be 1st and 15. 9 minutes, 19 seconds left first half. The pace of the game has kind of slowed down a little bit after the Devils broke out on top, 14-0 with the 2 quick touchdowns. Here's Ayers under center. Handoff. Soriano, and nothing doing that time as he's met and dropped on the right side of the line. Sawa on the stop for the Trojans.
Zama's defense is beginning to step up, play a little bit better than they did early. And that comes to being field position, I think, has a little bit to do with it.
Yes, it does have a little bit to do with it. Looked like no gain on the play, 2nd and 15. And Ayers is not going to have as much success on the throw into the teeth of the wind, I don't think. But then again, he's done some marvelous things, and he's hit hard and dropped this time in the backfield. Knocked down by Brandon Flagg.
A little bit of a broken play there, don't you think?
Brandon Faulkner, sorry about that.
It looked like a broken play.
And it did look like a broken play indeed.
So that's going to be 3rd and pretty close to, 18 yards or 19?
Third down and 20.
20, all right. So there's going to be a timeout by Red Devils.
And a smart timeout, I think, with 8 minutes, 10 seconds left in the first half. The Devils are leading by 2 touchdowns, but this is the time with the wind in your face. The conditions have changed, kind of ebbs the confidence a little bit.
Yeah, it certainly does. If Zama can come up with a stop here and force a punt and get field position, it could change the
could get them game. Right back in the ball game.
You can kind of feel a shift right now. To me, I can feel a shift of what's going on out on the field. And I'll tell you, it feels like that Zama's doing a whole lot better job on defense right now.
Yeah, their defense has come alive.
And Robert Stovall is talking to the team right now. Barney Rio, the offensive coordinator, stepping in to talk to them. But Stovall, it looked like that was his timeout. He wanted to say something to that ball club.
Well, let's give Stovall some credit here. He is still in shorts.
So's Mike Murphy. Look at that.
And Mike Murphy, they're still in shorts, and they're the only 2 people here in shorts tonight, I guarantee you.
Certainly me. I'm wearing my Cebu Lions jacket.
Well, I'll tell you, before we get started again, let me just remind everybody, MWR Mardi Gras, $19.95 a person. I'll tell you, just buy your MWR November the 27th from 6 until at the Thu Gym. All kind of fun. Everybody come out and join it.
Day after Thanksgiving. Hey.
Not much there for Panamá in that run. Picked up a few yards, but way short of the first down.
Sure did, I'll tell you. And Zama's defense is really stepping up to the task.
No doubt. 4th down.
So we'll see how Engstrom does going against this wind.
On 4th and 18 from the 21, you can see Nathan Smith is up a lot tighter than he normally would be. He picks the ball up at the 44-yard line and gets to the 35. So he did get off a good punt considering.
Yeah, kept it low. Ayers with the tackle. Good open field tackle by Ayers. But Zama for sure is starting with their best field position tonight.
9-yard return by Smith. He takes it to the 35-yard line. 1st and 10 Trojans, and they're threatening, and as we talked about, could be a shift in momentum, could be a shift in the score, and the Trojans could get right back in this thing.
Yeah, if they score, they're back in the game, that's for sure.
Looking for their first score.
7:22 left first half. Here it is, 1st and 10. Barry under center. Will drop back, rush. The pass is underthrown and incomplete as Potato came on strong.
Yeah, he threw it before St. Augustine was ready for it and underthrew it by a couple of yards. No chance to catch that ball.
Despite the wind. 2nd and 10 at the 35. Now that's one of the unique characteristics of Berkey by the Bay. The wind can come from the mountains. It can come from the sea, and either way. And you hang around for any of those softball tournaments, and you watch, the balls can jump out of the yard on some games.
That's true.
There's a pass out of the backfield. That time he hits San Augustine down the right sideline, and good yardage for the Trojans. They get inside the 20-yard line, and a timeout signaled by Richard Warner, one of the assistant coaches for the Devils.
I could have sworn Zama was moving in that line early, but there's no flag, so that play will stand.
I could have sworn that the Devils had too many men on the field, and that was not called.
So good, no call by the officials.
at least from the red and white perspective.
Offsetting penalties there.
Yeah.
St. Augustine, out of the backfield, he picks up 18 yards and a first down at the 17-yard line.
I'll tell you, guys, you'll have to kind of enlighten me on this, Coach. It looks like that's almost like a single-wing offense that Kinnick's been running earlier in the game, in a way. He's got the three strong on the right-hand side and the quarterback back.
And in the old single-wing days, of course, it wouldn't be a quarterback standing back. There would be a tail or a fullback, depending on who the featured back in the offense was. But that has been the most effective formation for the Devils in the ballgame.
Well, and what they want to do is free errors. He's got the option to run the ball, pass the ball, pitch the ball in that situation. He's going to make something happen.
Remember a couple of years ago when Jared Warner played played quarterback out of that same formation, and George Thompson as well. First and 10 from the 17. Here's Berry on the drop. Sets up, throws right side, caught, touchdown!
Number 80 for Zama.
Burt Matthews, Marquise Berry's favorite target, catches the pass in the end zone, and the Trojans have marched right back into this game.
That's what we were talking about. One score, and all of a sudden it's a new ball game here.
Well, I'll tell you what, the tight end took across in the middle, and I think it kind of drew the defensive back into the middle and left him wide out on the wing there and wide open.
And he made a nice catch, and Matthews has made a couple of those this year from Marquise Berry. The two of them are freshmen.
Wow.
Imagine that.
Well, they got a lot of good years ahead of them.
I checked that. Marquise Berry is a sophomore.
And we got a flag down.
And Matthews is a sophomore. I was wrong on both counts.
Delay game there on Zama. Cost him 5.
They couldn't get they've had trouble with that all season long, guys, getting the right combination on their special teams. They've had problems with that.
Well, apparently they didn't get it corrected at the last game of the season.
No,
They're still having trouble.
You know, not within 25 seconds anyway. Terrence Quinton, who's been down with an injury the last couple of 3 weeks, on to try the extra point and cut the margin in half. Here's the snap. No, they're going to go for 2. There's T.J. Decker with a man open. Underthrows him. Incomplete. Burt Matthews was so open in the corner.
Yep.
Oh, my.
It's like he almost short-armed that ball, and it just didn't get there.
Didn't happen. 14-6 the score. With 7:04 left first half, Zama is back in the ball game.
Well, they may come back to haunt them a little bit later.
Definitely. But there was a high snap, and I think that was not a play call, but the snap was high, and T.J. Decker probably thought he couldn't get the snap down in time to be able to get the kick. Thought he'd take the risk, roll the dice, go for the 2-point pass. Didn't work.
Exactly.
But, hey, an 8-point deficit, better than a 14-point deficit, and I'm sure that Zama coach Brian Watson will take that any day of the week right now.
That's right, and we have 7 minutes left in this quarter, which means Zama might get the ball back with the wind.
Well, that's true. I tell you, the wind's played such a factor in this game so far. It's a telling tale, I tell you. But here we go. After the first half, Kinnick's going to get the ball back on with the wind at their back. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens there.
Here's Quinton, roots it high and deep. Tyson almost down on one, and they're saying yes, he was down on a knee.
That's the second time we've seen that, and again, I don't know that his knee hit. On the first one, I thought the Zama guy didn't go down.
No, he did not. I was down on the sideline, and yeah, it looked close, but from that angle, it would appear to the referee that close to the play that his knee did touch down. I think we'd have to run that back and take a look at it.
Yeah, that one was a little closer, I thought, than the Zama one. But that's twice we've seen it, so Zama pins the Devils back deep in their own territory here.
Kinnick with the wind in its face. 7:04 left first half. They're at the 21-yard line, the Devils are, with a spread formation. Engström comes back in motion. Here's the handoff. Soriano cuts back left side. A lot of room. He could go all the way.
Or at least to the 48-yard line.
Hey, I had to say that. I haven't said that all season long.
I know.
Well, I'll tell you what, if he continued to march instead of making that cutback, he may have got a little bit more yardage out of that. But what a run. What a great run.
But you saw his speed there, and Soriano,
Whoa.
with the type of speed he will show, his quickness at point guard that you'll see during basketball season. A huge gain that time.
Yeah, the key to that was the cutback.
31-yard pickup, 1st and 10. The Devils in Trojans territory at the 48-yard line. There's that spread formation one more time. This time Potato comes in motion to the left side. The snap. This time Ponemeyer hit on and dropped at the 48-yard line.
Number 39 from Zama.
Quinton, the senior leader of that veteran defense.
Yeah, he's played a great game on defense.
So not the same success that they had, and another timeout, this one called by Zama, with 6:21 left first half. Both teams have used 3 timeouts.
I'll tell you, I don't know about you guys, but this is an exciting game. Even though Kinnick's 4-time Kanto Plains champs, they're playing like they're playing their first game, and Zama's playing just like it's their first game. What an exciting ball game for the fans.
And I think part of that is that feeling that you get at the end of the season. It's been a long, hard battle. But, some people like football so much and they just don't want the games to end, because they love the game. They simply love the game.
Yeah.
And I speak for myself on that score, too.
And also for me. Do love the football game. And what great weather we have out here tonight. It's about, what do you think, maybe 30 degrees wind chill factor with a 40-knot wind?
I'm just glad we're up here in the booth.
The forecast low for tonight is 53, by the way, down here, and certainly one of the coolest evenings we've had.
That wind's going to drop it a few degrees.
Just a few. It'll drop it in the 40s or thereabouts. Spread formation once again as the Devils come back out on offense. We have a 2nd and 10 from just inside the 48. Looked like a fumble now. Pitch out to Soriano. Runs into Ayers, and he will be dropped back in Kinnick territory.
Yeah, there's a busted play all the way.
Well, Soriano tried to make something out of nothing. Couldn't quite do it.
Nowhere to go.
And the ball back at the 46-yard line, a loss of 6. It'll be 3rd and 16. So what solution does Barney Rio and Daniel Ayers and the Devils offense have for this situation? Ayers drops, rolls, the pass, caught and dropped.
Well short of the first down. So.
Engstrom was there. He was hit by a couple of people. The ball dropped. It'll be 4th down. 4th and 16. Just under 5.5 left in the half. Engstrom back to try his best to punt into the breeze. Nathan Smith, who also punts for Zama, back deep to receive. Here's the kick by Engstrom. It's a fairly good one, given the wind, and he gets a nice bounce. But it rolls back to about the 30-yard line.
Yeah. Engstrom's a smart player, keeping that ball low in the wind and going for the roll, and it's worked twice now.
Well, Coach, I tell you, I'd like to remind everybody or tell everybody that in the 3rd quarter we're going to have Captain Wiley and Master Chief Adibiano up here with you guys, calling some of the plays and talking about what's happening on Yokosuka here. So welcome them. And if I pronounced his name wrong, it's because I'm from the South.
A pitch out by Barry to San Augustine, and this will be a reverse, and this did not fool anybody.
And a pass off the reverse, I think.
Pass, or an attempt at a pass as Matthews chucked it forward. I don't know.
No, it was a pass. It was a pass.
What do we have here, guys?
It was a pass.
Incomplete.
Incomplete pass.
Now, I'm not sure it's a called play that way or whether he just threw it to avoid taking the loss. Whatever is a smart play on his part.
Definitely. It was a smart play. So it'll be 2nd and 10, fortunately for the Trojans, from the 31, where it could have been a huge loss back to the 20-yard line.
Can a high school quarterback or running back actually throw a chest pass? Is that legal in high school ball?
Well, I know it's legal in basketball.
Thank you for that, Dave.
to overstate the obvious.
Now, anytime the ball goes forward, it's going to be a pass.
From the gun, Berry fires, caught. Engstrom hits him immediately. That was San Augustine coming out of the backfield. So he's been successful with that a couple of times. Brings the ball to about the 35-yard line, a gain of 4 yards. And I'll tell you, Berry was lucky he didn't get nailed by Zamora, who was coming at him with all engines blazing.
Yeah, Kinnick's had a good rush on the quarterback all night.
A good rush? I'd say a very good rush.
All right, outstanding rush.
Okay, that's better. On 3rd and 6, Berry on the drop, has time, lets it fly to Matthews. The pass is caught. Nice play as ball got turned around, and the Trojans are back in Kinnick territory.
What a pass there.
Excellent
by
catch.
Berry.
That time, Berry had time.
Yeah, he did. Zamora was coming in. One of the Trojans picked him up on a block, gave him enough time to throw that long pass.
And the Trojans are marching at the 28-yard line. It is 1st and 10.
I'll tell you, the Zama quarterback's got a rifle arm. I wasn't expecting that. Of course, the wind helped a little bit, but what a beautiful pass.
The Super Sops, Berry, Matthews. Marquise Berry, the younger brother of former Trojans All-League star Tiger Berry. Now a fumble! Who's got it?
Preliminary indication is there's no preliminary indication.
And it looks like the Trojans fell on it.
Got a player down.
Got a player down over there.
And he is hurt.
It is Trojans' ball.
First down, Devils. First down, Kinnick. Now the question is, who fell on the football?
I have no idea. There was a bunch of people over there. Sorry, I called that wrong. Dave Law was pointing the other way. Yeah, Zamora was in that group. There were 4 or 5 Kinnick players over there.
And we're trying to see who the injured Trojan is over on that far side. And they've had a whole passel of injuries this year. One of their key ball players, Tremaine Hayes, who transferred in from Kansas and was dubbed the Trojan Tornado after a 224-yard performance to open the season. He's been hurt most of the year. That's number 72 on the far side for the Trojans, Justin Roth. Just a freshman, a lineman.
He's got pretty good size.
Well, we hope he's okay.
And so the momentum that the Trojans had delayed or stalled at least somewhat as the Devils recover. They have 1st and 10 with 4:39 left first half at their 37-yard line. There's the handoff. Ponemeyer, left side. That play worked very well earlier, but not that time.
Yep, nowhere to go. Good defense by Zama on that play.
And the Trojans' defense has stepped up. Loss of 1. It'll be 2nd and 11 from the 36.
That's it seems like the wind's dictating the pace here.
No, it has been. There's no two ways about it. Just over 4.5 left in the half. Devils clinging to an 8-point lead, 14-6. 2nd and 11, inside handoff. Not a whole lot of running room, but Engstrom makes something out of nothing.
Yeah, he could have been stopped for 2 or 3 yards further back, but he just kept digging and picked up a couple of yards for us.
That's the thing about Engstrom's running. Every yard is hard earned, but he makes the defense pay. You want to bring him down, you're not going to get him for a loss. You're going to get him after a 3 or 4 yard gain. If you wrap him up, he's going to drag a few bodies with him.
Great second effort.
Yeah, if it's one-on-one, he'll take you a few yards.
To make it 3rd and 7 from the 40. Clock moving, 4 minutes left. Ayers on the drop. San Augustine closing in. Ayers is brought down, out of bounds.
And that's going to hurt the Devil. That's going to bring up 4th and long, and they're going to be having to punt into the wind. So Zama should come out of this with decent field position.
Depending on the punt. Loss of 13 yards.
Well, that was one of those times where Daniel Ayers had the opportunity to get rid of the ball, but chose not to and tucked it in. And, in this wind, the ball's doing all kind of crazy things with the wind in his face.
So that may have simply delayed the inevitable, that fumble recovery. As Engstrom has the ball snapped high, recovers, gets another low line drive kick. And that'll at least get it close to midfield at about the 48-yard line. So another good punt considering.
Considering everything, great punt, especially after a bad snap. But Zama's going to have 3 minutes and 51 seconds here to try to tie this game or at least get it down to 14-12.
Just inside the 48-yard line, the Trojans will take over in Kinnick territory again.
So Kinnick defense needs to step up one more time.
Devils need a stop. Outsized and outmanned, though, they have managed to do what few people thought, except maybe the Devils, thought that they could. There's a counter to San Augustine, right side. He'll get inside the 45-yard line to about the 43.
San Augustine, a lot like Engstrom, it takes more than one guy to bring him down.
Big and blocky, a senior.
Yeah, you don't tackle a guy like that up at the chest. He'll just run right over you. If you don't hit him around the knees, he's going someplace.
Gain of 4. 2nd and 6 from the 43. San Augustine's father, Joe, is a longtime resident of Zama, native of Guam and a volleyball official over there. There's another counter. San Augustine is getting virtually every carry.
Yeah, he really has in this game, and he's beginning to pick up some yards. He didn't have a lot of success early in the game, but now he's picking up 4, 5, 6 yards every carry.
Running like he did last year for that Zama team that started out so strong and ended up so dismally.
Well, he got hurt last year, didn't he?
He got hurt this season. No, he was pretty much healthy.
I thought he got hurt last year in our game.
1st and 10 at the 35. There's a lead draw to San Augustine, and he ran smack into his Kinnick counterpart, Mr. Engstrom.
And they pat each other.
Yeah,
It's a little
absolutely,
mutual respect there.
Definitely, yeah. Definitely. That's a sign of good sportsmanship.
Yeah, I like that.
So they lose 4 yards.
And about 14 yards.
Loss of 4 to make it 2nd and 14 from the 39. Clock moving. Trojans can only stop the clock one more time. So it takes good clock management when you use 3 of your 4 allotted timeouts. Here's Berry under center. He rolls out to the left. He's in trouble and is dropped. Nice defensive play that time.
Yeah, number 60 there.
Brad Warner.
Some more one that caused that with a good pursuit, and Warner finished it off.
Mm-hmm. Well, Kinnick defense again stepping up to the challenge here. It looked like Zama was on the move, and all of a sudden Kinnick steps it up a notch.
As we have less than 2 minutes left in the half, and the Trojans marching smartly backwards.
Well, they're going to go for it on 4th down, I think, if they don't pick it up here in 3rd.
It's 4 down territory here, there's no doubt about it. Ayers looking for that sack again, trying to leap over that line. Berry lets it fly toward the middle, and a nice defensive play by Ian Tyson.
Yeah, almost intercepted there.
One of the heroes last week in that magical, mystical, miracle comeback by the Devils from an 11-point deficit with 8 minutes left. Tyson almost with a pickoff. And a timeout called by Zama. They want to talk about it. 4th down.
Yeah, they want to come up with the right play here in this situation. I can't believe they'd punt, though.
No, absolutely not. I mean, unless, if they had more time on the clock and they had more timeouts, yeah, go ahead and punt, pin them deep,
Exactly.
and force Kinnick into a bad punt. But you're talking 96 ticks on the clock left in the half.
That's right. And Kinnick would just run it out and get the wind in the third quarter. So.
No,
What do you think? I think on this play, I don't think we'll see a running play. I think we're going to go for the end zone.
Well, at least a first down, because you can at least stop the clock to move the chains, or you can try to get out of bounds.
I think we're going to see that pass play to St. Augustine.
That back out right side, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
One
That
that
has
was
worked very
successful.
nicely for them.
Certainly has.
And at halftime, of course, you'll have cheerleading performances, last time before basketball.
Speaking of basketball, what's up with the NBA this year?
Who cares? Who cares?
Well, I actually, with Michael Jordan being a free agent, I just wonder where he might go.
Well, I'll tell you what. Take your lockout, take your posturing owners, take your rich, filthy rich agents, take your players with all their automobiles, take your Shaq, take your Spreewell, take your preening, your posturing, go away.
We can tell you're not much of a
And
basketball
don't
fan.
come back. I don't miss you. Here we go, 4th and 19,
Fumble.
and a fumble.
But he picked it up.
And
Got it
San
to
Augustine is going to let it fly. Bays it down there. It is caught. And
dropped.
no, it's incomplete.
Dropped.
Did not hang on to the football. And a couple of coaches on that far side looking for pass interference. They're not going to get it.
I believe that was Ray Ponemeyer with the defense there. Stripped the ball.
Not on that play, they won't. That was good, clean defense there.
And so the Trojans are held. And who knows? Hey, 127 left on the clock. 1st and 10, 44. Can the Devils do something?
Well, I don't think we're going to see him put it up in the air. What do you think, Coach?
I think they'll be conservative here, but who knows what Barney Reel's going to come up with. He's surprised us before.
He has. Anyway, no, it's not that I'm not a basketball fan. I'm not a fan of leagues that desert fans.
And they have done that this year.
Soriano through the middle, past the 50. So I guess the Devils are going to be content to hold on to an 8-point lead.
I must say on that NBA situation is the good news is we'll get more college basketball on TV this year.
Hey, America, are you serious? It's showtime, baby.
The good games.
Here we go.
And seeing as Duke from North Carolina is #1 in the nation.
There's the sneak by Ayers. He'll get a first down, and that will stop the clock so they can move the chains.
Duke's only #1 in the preseason. We'll see where they are at the tournament time.
Yeah, I'm not sure who they lost last year, I tell you. And I'm a little bit concerned about Duke being #1. Every time they lose the ball.
Duke will have a fine team this year.
Now, the Devils do have one more timeout, so they can stop the clock if they get close enough to where they might threaten to score, then maybe.
Yeah, this might be the time to put it in the air, although they're not in a passing formation.
Then again,
Yeah, but they are.
Ayers throws left side ball, contact, and there's the flag. There was some contact down there.
Nah, incidental, but we'll take it.
Quentin Parker bumping Richard Ball. That's a classic case of pass interference. But they're going to wave it off. They're going to rule it an uncatchable ball.
Well, yeah, I think what happened is Richard Ball slowed down, and the guy ran into him from the back, and so he initiated the contact because Richard knew he wasn't going to catch it.
Well, that'll stop the clock with 24 seconds left in the half.
Yeah, why not take a shot at it? You know, you got 3 downs here and only 24 seconds. Air it out a little bit.
Ian Tyson coming off the field, a little bit of confusion, and okay, there's only 4 in the backfield. I thought there were too many. Ayers from the gun, the rush on, and he's going to get nailed. Dwayne San Augustine, that play forced by Nathan Smith, San Augustine, and Justin Roth finishing him off.
No, you just let the clock run out now.
Now that's exactly what you
let
do.
it run out.
There's no sense, I'll tell you, it's a good move on Daniel Ayers' part not to throw up a brick for grabs. He put it under the bread basket and tucked it in, and away he went.
First half is history. The score at halftime, the Kinnick Red Devils 14, the Zama American Trojans 6. Stay with C-Face 7 for the second half of tonight's ball game, the last game of the season. You're watching C-Phase 7, a division of your MWR.
I'll tell you, it's been wonderful for the first half, and I'm going to bow out here and appreciate being here. And we will see y'all next year.
Bradley. Co-captain, Marielle flying so high, Sister Reno. A junior, Lisa, chilling to that classical pin. A sophomore, Kenya, where she at in the middle, as a half. A senior, Lauren, leading her way to the top, Young. A senior, Sean, sophisticated lady, Ellington. And weighing in at 250 pounds, the man in the back, Joseph Stuntman Smith.
Welcome back to second half action. Kinnick High School Red Devils with a 14-6 lead against the Camp Zama Trojans. John Leinert with you, with Rob Riegel, and we're here to bring you the second quarter. We're going to have the commanding officer, so to speak, the mayor of Yokosuka Naval Base on here in the second quarter, and we want to invite him and Master Chief Ottaviani in until they get up here. John Leinert's alongside with me here, and Kinnick has chosen to defer and take the end zone, take the wind at their back in the fourth quarter, which is a good call, I think. I really do believe that that's a great call.
It's showing a lot of confidence in their defense. They say, we can stop Zama this quarter, and then fourth quarter, nothing to worry about with the wind.
Right. So anyway, Kinnick has that option. They can always kick off twice if they want to, and they're going to. And Engstrom's going to get that ball down on the ground on a nice kick, and that's going to go to, look like number 80, Camp Zama, and he's going to be corralled with a nice tackle made by, look like Ariel Zamora on that tackle. Beautiful shoestring tackle is number 80, which looks like that is Burt Matthews, unable to get out to the right-hand side.
That's a good open field tackle by Ariel Zamora.
Okay, so Kinnick Red Devils going to get set up on defense here as we invite the commanding officer of the Naval Base, Captain Jim Wiley, to join us here. We're going to watch the first play as they get set up, and if we have some audio problems in the interim, you'll know. A long throw, and that's going no. Oh, that's going to be a touchdown. First play of the second half goes for 6 for Camp Zama as they came out firing. Surprised the Kinnick Red Devils. Looked like Soriano had a chance to get to that, John, but was unable to, knock it down.
That was a well-thrown ball with the wind. He broke that tackle, took off. Nobody there to stop him. And, boy, that changed. Backfired a little bit there, kicking off.
Certainly did, and going to put Kinnick in a little bit of a bind here as Zama's going to get a chance to tie it up with a 2-point conversion. They have the tee down to kick the ball to the goal for a 1-point conversion, but we don't know that that's what they're exactly going to do. I'd like to welcome Captain Jim Wiley and Master Chief Ottaviani.
Hey, Rob, how you doing tonight?
Good. Citizens of Yokosuka, and the mayor and his lieutenant to mayor, so to speak, and welcome both of you. What do you think of the first half?
Well, I'm sorry I wore my Washington Redskins hat tonight. It seems to have brought just a measure of bad luck here, but they are on a one-game winning streak back there in Washington.
And I think that fooled no one as that ball is actually going to be knocked down. They put the tee down on the 10-yard line as if they were going to kick, but did not, and that's going to still keep the lead to Kinnick 14-12. And an interesting call there, Captain, to Kinnick to defer and not take the ball in the first half and get the wind in the second or the last quarter of the game. That was interesting coaching decision.
Well, if they can score 2 touchdowns downwind and hold the other team to 1 touchdown downwind, they'll be doing okay tonight, I guess.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I think all the points that have been scored have been going with the win. So hopefully during the last quarter we'll have the same luck that both teams have had during the time that had the win with them. So hopefully it'll be a good thing for us. The kids are playing well tonight, and it'll be a nice a capstone if they can pull this last victory off. And I think they will. They'll pull it out at the end.
So 14-12 with just a little over 11 minutes to play. The first play from scrimmage yielding 6 for Zama.
Yeah, it sure did.
And, of course, that kick went well, and that's Soriano trying to pick that ball off as it bounces off his chest. He's got room out to the 20-25 to the 28-yard line where he's brought down, and a nice tackle made there by Zama. One of the things we want to touch on, and we're going to touch on many during this quarter, is we have 2 distinguished guests with us. But the first thing we want to bring up, I think, Captain, we talked about this a little bit earlier on, is the success of the gate changes as far as the traffic flow going out in the afternoons. You want to comment on that a little bit?
That's a good thing to talk about tonight, especially if we get this televised game out to the battle group, we can talk a little bit about that, and it's something for them to anticipate when they come back. When we get through this play, and then we'll talk a little bit about that.
Okay, Daniel Ayers under center in the I formation goes Kinnick. To the near side of the field is Richard Barl. To the far side, Andrade. That goes to Soriano. He's met immediately for about a 2-yard loss on the play as he goes to the 25-yard line and is hit immediately. And one of the things we've seen in this first, as we're going to the wind in the first half, was that no success by either side going against the wind. And kind of good segue towards as we go against the wind, we're trying to alleviate some of the going against traffic, and we'll try to get into some of the logistics of what we've tried to do after this play here. I formation again. Ayers is under center. To the near side is Richard Ball. It goes to the first back through, which is Engstrand. He has a nice gain there of about 4 yards to the 29-yard line. Going to bring up a third down and about 8. So, Captain, can you just kind of give us a...
Rob, this game is going to reach a lot more people on replay than it is tonight because it's awfully cold out here. But one thing, the battle group can expect to see that's new when they get back is that we have a new scheme that reduces the traffic congestion at the main gate in the afternoon at rush hour going out. Namely, a very simple thing is that we are asking all the pedestrians to walk past the Club A and then cross to the anchor on the base side of the street before crossing Route 16. We'll talk more about it in a minute.
High formation again, goes to the second back through, which is Soriano. He was met and then unable to get much further as he gets past the 31 and going to force Kinnick into a punting situation with the 4th and about 6. And so you get to the anchor, Captain, and...
at that point you can cross Route 16. And the basic concept is almost all the cars leaving the base are taking a right turn on Route 16, and we've always had that pedestrian car interference that reduces the number of cars we can get through.
Engstrand punts, and a nice punt against the wind. It's on the ground and rolling favorably to Kinnick, and they're going to down it about the goal line as Ayers puts his foot on it. And, yeah, it is. It's just the simple premise is that most of our commuters are from Kago or Nagishi, and they need to make a right-hand turn, and we're facing traffic previously. And I guess the hope is that by making them make a little bit of a U-turn, which is not that much of an inconvenience, it allows the traffic to flow easier out the gate. And I got to tell you, the initial impressions from many of the people I've talked to are very favorable on that. Wouldn't you say, Master Chief?
Oh, yes, sir. We've seen a great increase of the cars getting out of the gate right around the rush time traffic around 1600 to about 1645, 1700. I think the greatest percentage we've seen in a 15-minute time frame is about a 61%. And also we've noticed even right after 1700, about 1710, 1715, there's hardly any traffic at all, which you would normally see during the regular day. I think the real litmus test is when the fleet gets back. We'll have a little bit more vehicular traffic going out the gate, but I think we made a major change for a good cause. And
San Augustine with a big run there. He gets down to about the 37-yard line. Nice gain is on 1st and 10. They're able to pick up about 17 and move the chains. And we're seeing this game kind of go with the wind all night. And Zama not out of this game by any stretch, and a team that played Kinnick tough. I was at Camp Zama when we played them, and we were at 6-6 at the half, and we were able to come up with a couple touchdowns in the second half. But Zama, very tough team who surprised a lot of people in many games. And a little opening there, gain of about 4 yards, maybe call it 3 on the play.
Rob, I'm still waiting to see last week's game, the one with the 12-point deficit made up in the last 8 minutes, because it hasn't, I don't think, come up on CFA 5 yet.
It'll be phenomenal when it does. I'll tell you, it was one of those victories that you, I personally, and I've seen every game and broadcast every quarter, I was amazed because I had them out of the game myself when they were intercepted with 8 minutes left to go in the game and a touchdown put on them, but they came back, and we'll go into that a little bit more. Zama to throw again and looking deep again, and there's no catch on that play as the ball sailed a little bit past the intended receiver. But one of the things that is also nice about this is this change in the gate structure, and I want to go back to that just before we go on to other things, is that it is also making people a little bit more aware of the dia gate. And, Captain, maybe you can point out a few features of that.
Yeah, as you know, a couple of months ago we opened that turnstile gate behind ATG, which provides several hundred people, anyone who wants to use it, an opportunity to come in the morning and go out in the afternoon. And, matter of fact, we've opened it for a couple hours at the lunch hour now. It's being well patronized. So that little move there and the main gate deal, things are looking pretty good on traffic.
Okay, that ball almost picked off by Zamora as he had his hands on it, and he was probably looking towards the other end zone with that. Had a good chance. The ball intended for St. Augustine out of the backfield, unable to make that connection. But I'll tell you, Zama is not going to let Kinnick go into the night with a happy, 8-1 record. They're going to put up a fight here, and I think, Kinnick being the Kanto playing champions, and I was pleased to hear about you demonstrating that in your show today. they have a little bit of a target on them now by all of the teams again, and especially Zama tonight. Fourth down, Zama's going to go, and it looks like he's hung up, and he's going to be facing a problem as it looks like Zamora along with, not actually Zamora, that was Matt Steins in on that play, and hard to read the numbers sometimes, but Matt Steins comes up with a good sack, and Kinnick's going to take over, and actually pretty good field position going against the wind at their own 41-yard line. Some of the other things coming up, Captain, you're well aware, like everybody else, of the holiday season, and we're going to have the Festival of Trees the 11th and 12th December, a little bit earlier than we did last year, but it's because the weekends rotate through the years. And
that's one of the unique highlights of life here in Yokosuka. There's really no counterpart to it almost anywhere in the world, where we get all the tenant commands and a good portion of the JMSDF and everybody putting these trees together that sort of exemplify their own commands in the gymnasium space that's above my office over in C2.
That was a single back set in a spread formation. Soriano pulls ahead for about 2 yards on the play. And, Captain, I'll tell you, I've been to several of them. I had the privilege when I was under your command as the CEO of the McDonough to go to them then, and it's been a well-attended event. And I'll tell you, the other thing about it is that it's kind of a little bit of Americana to go up there and C2 Auditorium and be able to see those trees, because they're really beautiful. I mean, the commands, it's not like, hey, we're all going to be putting up a tree there and it's a schlock event. It's some beautiful efforts made there. Hand off to Ponemeyer. He goes nowhere as he's drilled for a loss of about 3 yards on the play to the original line of scrimmage. Going to bring up about a third down and 9, third down and 10. And so, yeah, it is
One nice thing about the Festival of Trees is not just the trees going up, but it's the venue for a lot of other things that happen. We get generally some of the musical groups from Kinnick, 7th Fleet Band in there and that type of thing. And some of the smaller, I guess the kindergartens out in town usually bring their kids on board, and they perform carols and stuff like that.
Yeah, my son goes to a Japanese kindergarten, and they come on Seika, and they get to sing, and it's a highlight for pretty much everyone in the community, all-inclusive. Soriano with room out to the right-hand side, has room to the 45, jukes to the 40, down to the 35, down to the 32-yard line, with a nice gain on a play is Gerald Soriano, showing why he's should be considered for a Kanto Plain All-Star submission, but
I tell you, Gerald sure is quick.
Oh, he is, and I can't wait to see him in basketball this year. One of the highlights of my year is to get to Kanto Plain basketball, and we're pretty excited about that. But back to the Festival of Trees, as you were saying, Captain, it's just a venue where we get to include some of the people from out in town, but also it's a real nice event. Quick play to Ponemeyer across the 30 to the 29-yard line, and Kinnick on the move against the wind and has the deepest penetration of either side against the wind so far this game. So, Master Chief, you see some of this action here tonight. What do you think about our Kanto Plain champions?
Well, the thing that impresses me the most is not only their savvy on the field itself, but you look out here and you see the numbers out here, and you look on the sideline, there's only 2 or 3 people that aren't actually in the game. So our players are playing both ends of the field and doing quite well.
Matt Engstrom able to get nowhere on that play, as that was well read by the Zama defense. Going to bring up a second down on about, let's call it 12 on the play.
And the thing that really strikes me is just the conditioning, the savvy to be able to switch from offense to defense, and their endurance. And it takes a lot of courage and physical athleticism to get out here and do this both ways and still be number one throughout the Kanto Plain. Pretty impressive.
Absolutely. I formation. As near back is Engstrom, the far back Ponemeyer, and that play is going to go to Calhoun. It's off his fingertips, unable to get a connection on the ball, and that's going to bring up fourth down.
I guess this is actually the second year in a row they weren't necessarily considered to be the favorite because of the size of the kids and the number and stuff like that, but 4 years in a row.
Yeah, 4 years in a row, and just to get back to that ASIJ victory with 8 minutes left in the game, as you were saying, just a beautiful effort. 5:30, we had a touchdown score, 1-yard touchdown score, as we're getting ready to get this punt from Engstrom, who's going to try and back him up, and that's a nice kick away from the Zama receiver, and that's going to go down about the 15-yard line, and it's going to give them a lot of yardage to go. And Kinnick, what they're trying to do is working so far is with 5:22 left in the third quarter of play, they've got Zama backed up in the lead by 2 and hoping to help themselves out in the fourth quarter with the win. But at ASIJ, what ended up happening is that with about 5:30 left, after getting the ball down 2 touchdowns with 8 minutes, 5:30, Soriano went into the end zone on a 1-yard run, and then with 2:20 left, a long bomb from Ayers to Ian Tyson, a new player that joined the club, for a touchdown, put Kinnick ahead and won the championship if you hadn't watched that game or had the chance to see it. And a nice run by San Augustine out to the right-hand side over the 20-yard line to the 21. And
yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think I've seen the Iwakuni portions of that one twice now, so
yeah.
I'm ready for the one last week.
Yeah, that was a great game, a great come-from-behind victory, and what sealed it was Kinnick's defense in the end with 2 minutes to play. Zama had a couple of chances, and 2 interceptions, one by Soriano and one by Richard Ball, put the game away and iced it for Kinnick. And if you were there, you just couldn't have believed how stunned the crowd was. And that's going to be a handoff to the right-hand side, and a nice tackle made, looked like by Matt Engstrand, or actually Ariel's, Engstrand on that tackle. Oh, Calhoun, 30, number 30 Calhoun, Mike Calhoun on a tackle. And there's another basketball player. A lot of basketball players on here. I'm sure you recognize him from last year, Captain. But I think we got a great shot at basketball, not to move on and pass over Kinnick here, but I know your son John is going to be playing, but preseason favorite to win the Kanto playing this year is the Kinnick Red Devils.
Well, they got all the starters returning, and of course they're the only team to upset the eventual champions CAJ last year.
So the Knights were upset last year. That run goes nowhere, and that's a 20-yard line right there, maybe the 19. But
if you remember, that was in that one away game during the regular season, but then CAJ took it all in the finals.
Yeah. And CAJ, let's take nothing away from them. They deserved it last year, but yeah, they do have their work cut out for them. And we have 3 super softs this year coming in to help bolster that team, one of which is out here tonight, Ian Tyson, who they say is a phenomenal ball player. So some of the other things that are going to be coming up soon that we want to talk about a little bit, if we can touch on, we've got the Mardi Gras coming up after Thanksgiving, Captain. Ready for some Cajun food?
Absolutely.
That's a good kick, but it takes a bad bounce, and Zama is able to get rid of it in good position, but Kinnick going to take over against the wind, and their best starting position against the wind tonight is they're going to get it from the 33-yard line. And going back to this Mardi Gras thing, Cajun food, some good bands coming out for that.
That's going to be one of these big Thu Jim dance, good time type events that unfortunately the fleet was gone for the majority of things like Navy Ball and stuff like that. So we're throwing this Mardi Gras in basically Thanksgiving time rather than Carnival time in the spring. But it's the right timing for the fleet, and then of course we transition into another Monster Bingo thing the next day.
Absolutely. Last Monster Bingo, single winner went away with $40,000, which will make a nice Christmas for that person, and that could be anybody if they come out. Okay, that goes to Soriano as he's able to get up to the 30-yard line. Again, of about 3 on the play. Off tackle to the right-hand side. Soriano getting some good blocking and gets down to the 30 and going to bring up a 2nd and 7. Another thing that's going to be coming up is the Christmas holiday season. A lot of parties going on. I know that the CFA party, for one, is coming up, and I'm going to be part of that. But one of the things we want to get out to the crowd after this play is some of the common sense procedures during the holidays, and we'll get to that after Ayers takes his snap. Engstrand in motion. Ponemeyer, the single back, had a block but unable to use it as he's drugged down for no gain at about the 30-yard line. We just want to get out to the community early on. It's a holiday season. It's a time that you want to go out and celebrate, and there's nobody saying that you can't, but use some common sense. And Captain can't emphasize enough how important it is that people use the designated driver. At MWR, we're offering T-shirts, free meals, just about everything we can do to get people to convinced in that.
That's a good point, Rob. You just don't want to lower your guard in the holiday season because, there have been a couple of egregious events, not here at Yokosuka, but in Japan in the last couple of months involving drinking and driving.
Ayers under pressure, takes a sack there, and he's going to got a pretty big loss. And Kinnick still just trying to hold on to their lead here. Not looking to get too much done here. Ayers trying to pass, but he would have been against the wind, and unfortunately unable to come up with much. But they're going to be forced to punt. But it's still going to back up, hopefully back up Zama a little bit. And yeah, Captain, I think that's one of the things, we see it in the news, and it hasn't affected us, and I think that's in large part because we do pay attention to it. That ball's going to roll out about the 25-yard line. It's because we're careful about those things, but again, just don't want to let off the guard there. And Master Chief, I think, you've got enough experience that you could probably add to that a little bit as well.
Yeah, Bob, the first thing that I always like to at least talk to sailors about is to make a plan before you go out. The first thing is, first of all, make the plan to have a good time, but make a plan to have a designated driver, know who you're with, know what your limits are, be responsible. If you choose to drink, do it in moderation, and have a good time. But first of all, make a plan. And once you have the plan, stick to it. And usually folks that have the plan to have a good time will have a successful evening.
That pass complete to the tight end, number 80. He gets up to about the 37-yard line. A nice effort by him. And I think we all echo the sentiments that the holidays are for sharing with the people you care about. And if you really care about somebody, you're going to make sure that they're taken care of, and you're going to be a designated driver or make sure that you're taken care of. And so we'll get away from that and get back to the football game a little bit. And we got a timeout here, and that's going to bring up a chance to do some other talk. I know, Captain, you had the privilege last year, I think, for the first time to do part of the judging for the Christmas decoration contest. Was that not correct?
There's an incredible amount of participation and enthusiasm by all the folks that live in Navy housing areas and aboard the base. Lieutenant commands and so forth really outdid themselves in decorating their work areas and stuff like that. So we'll be doing that again, and I think we handed out several $100s worth of prizes that amounted to contributions toward those individual units, welfare and recreation sorts of funds, and in the case of occupants in Navy housing, they get some pretty good gift certificates and stuff like that. But there's a lot of people who really get into this thing, I'll tell you that.
It is, and we're going to actually, every year it seems like we add another division to it. So we're looking hard at what we can add this year. We did get some feedback last year as to, if we're on the ground level, we don't have a balcony in the tower, so we're looking at those efforts, and we're trying to make it as fair as we can. But the point is that even if you don't want to enter a contest, it doesn't mean that you can't join the holiday cheer. And let's get out there, and really our neighbors, especially if you're in the towers, they see your effort from all over the waterfront, the whole community that can see the base from outside the gate. Yeah. They like that, and especially at night when the towers are lit up, it's really spectacular, and the ships as well. Coming in on the train, sometimes you can see the ships really well lit up, and it's a spectacular thing.
Rob, in some measure, we're talking about families and people who sort of have a designated support group already here, but I think there is an opportunity for those of us who are accompanied here to think about single sailors and that sort of stuff.
Absolutely, and we'll get to that here in a moment. St. Augustine has room out to about the 45-yard line. They call him out of bounds, and that's going to bring up a second down, and we'll call it a couple, it looks like. And, one of the things...
There'll be some opportunities, for example, to take care of single sailors, either in command functions or individually. They can come into homes, Thanksgiving, Christmas, that sort of thing, and...
Yeah, we talked about Adopt a Sailor on our last broadcast when we were at ASIJ. And we as a community, and that's what we have here, is just an American community, we do the same thing in any small town. So if you know somebody that you can take in, do that and be a part of these sailors. They're good people, and they're why we're here, and it's a good thing to support the fleet. And a lot of the people that are coming here from the Kitty Hawk, for instance, that may be single sailors, will be experiencing Thanksgiving outside of the United States or Christmas outside of the United States for the first time.
Yeah, good point. You got to remember, a lot of those folks they're still basically really in transitional stage. Kitty Hawk just came here this summer, and they're still adjusting.
Absolutely. So anything you want to do with that? And one of the things I stress to the people that might be listening at home is like, how do I do this? Hey, pick a command, call any command, and just put your name down and say, hey, I'd like to take a couple of sailors over to my house. It's not a difficult thing. You know, you may see one ship, you like it just because you like the number or something. It's a pretty easy thing to do. It doesn't take a real religious effort here. Zama, again, first down now. San Augustine and a flea flicker, and that is going to be picked off, and that's going to go Kinnick's way if it wasn't dropped. No, they're going to bring that back. It looked like it hit the ground. So
I saw some fists being pounded into the dirt, meaning they dropped the ball, I think.
So some good coverage there by Kinnick. It's going to bring up a second down and 10. And, the one thing about Christmas and the holidays and stuff is that it is very important that if you recognize the need of an individual or a charity or whatever, it is a season for giving as much as you can, and we emphasize that as much as we can. If you've got a volunteer group at your command, try and get involved with that, because that's one way you can contribute back to the host community that helps us so much. And here's San Augustine, and he's held up a little bit and then gang tackled, and I could call all the numbers, but take me all day as Kinnick stuffed that and fooled no one with that run to San Augustine. So, Captain, we got a minute left basically in the third quarter of play. What's your impression and prediction for the end of the game here?
I think Kinnick is doing very well on this upwind leg here, and I think, in retrospect, it's starting to look pretty good that they chose to go downwind for the last quarter. I think they're going to take this thing, and they're looking pretty good.
Master Chief, how about you? Your impressions here?
Well, I tend to agree with the skipper. I think we're going to tighten up our belt loops or our belts and really buckle down for the last quarter, and I'm sure they're going to pull it out. They got the lead now, and they can stuff them here for the last couple seconds of the quarter, and then I think we'll be able to really press hard and come through.
So, Captain and Master Chief, got an open forum here, so we got a timeout. Anything else you'd like to talk to the community about?
Well, just glad that our forward deployed ships, for the most part, are coming back pretty soon. We're looking forward to a really outstanding holiday season at Yokosuka, which is always quite a special thing. People ought to start really plugging into the Seahawk, because it's not just the same stuff. There's going to be a lot of special events, as we've already discussed, over the holidays. So we update that thing every week and take a look at it. There's no lack of stuff to plug into that's of quality, good things to do. Chapel of Hope, for example, is running a food collection thing for some of the homeless and so forth in conjunction with Thanksgiving. And just plug into the Seahawk. We got pretty much laid out in there all these types of opportunities.
And as the director of the Seahawk, I'll expand on that a little bit. We'll be putting in basically a schedule of events for many things. We're going to try and expand the MWR news page for those sort of events that are coming up as Zama gets ready to throw. And unfortunately, on a nicely designed screenplay for Zama, they're unable to come up with a catch. And to the benefit of Kinnick, our Red Devils, they are going to be able to stop them. And on a 4th down and 10, it'll be interesting to see what Zama does. I doubt they're going to go for it on 4th down and long like they did last time, because the clock's not in their favor.
Well, Rob, it's been my pleasure to be up here talking to you during this quarter, and I'd say your booth is not any much warmer than it is down on the sideline, so I'm going to go out and walk around the field for a little bit.
Well, we appreciate having Captain Jim Wiley here, as well as Master Chief Ottaviani. Appreciate their support. And there's a play, a big play, actually, and that's going to go for a 1st down, as he's going to be gang tackled. And the game's not over. With 43 seconds left in the 3rd quarter, we want to wish both Captain Wiley and Master Chief Ottaviani well, and we appreciate having you up here in the booth today.
Thanks a lot, Rob. Really appreciate it.
See you in basketball season.
Yeah, you will. Plenty of that. Thanks.
Thank you. I want somebody to talk to in the 4th quarter. Captain Vilnichuk, the dental guy, down there. I've noticed him at all the home games. He must be a really big fan.
Okay. Okay, so we're back here. Zama on a 1st down, and that ball stripped away, and that's a live ball, and Ariel Zamora picks it up, and they're saying down, and I don't know how that is, with stood up, stripped the ball away, and that's a horrible call.
Yeah, it really is. It was a fumble all the way.
It was a fumble stripped out of his hands,
number
and
34.
the officials need to talk about that because
but they're not. It's going to stand. So
it's going to stay in Kinnick's hands, but the back was not anywhere near being tackled. Got a hand around his waist, and another person stripped the ball away, and they're calling that is down, but they're going to change ends, and now Zama's really got their work cut out for them as John Leiter rejoins me here in the fourth quarter along with Gary Sink. And we appreciate having Captain Jim Wiley, who we'll hear a lot of in the basketball telecast this year as we go along.
He does come to the games.
Oh, I'd say he's got a pretty strong and big reason to come to the game, and his son, John, who's about 6'4" and a hell of a ball player. Gary, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Shivering a little bit out there, Rob. I tell you, the wind chill factor is like 0.
A little chilly out there tonight, but we had some great conversation with the captain. Just touch on a few things as we go through in case people join us late in the telecast. But right now, here's the scenario. Kinnick's got the ball, or doesn't have the ball. Zama has the ball, and they're throwing it. That's picked up by Soriano, who's got room to the 50, to the 45. One person to beat, and he steps out of bounds at the 43-yard line, or the 38-yard line. And a beautiful pick by Gerald Soriano as he comes up with his 8th interception of the year.
That was a
averaging an interception a game is this kid on defense. And we talk about him, John, a lot on offense. We don't give him a credit in that cornerback position, but, hey, tell me.
Yeah, it could have been a game saver right there. It was a good pick.
I'll tell you, it was wonderful. He caught that ball, and he thought maybe a little bit of a personal foul there on number 44 for Zama, but no call.
Well, he was on his way to the Thanksgiving table. He wanted a drumstick there because he was gone. And he just about broke it for a touchdown. And that
ball's on the ground.
And that Zama's got it, and I can see they got it. And that's going to be a hurtful thing for Kinnick. But turnover matches turnover on 2 consecutive plays. And Soriano, the one that picked the ball up, lets the ball go. And
number 39 for Zama on the recovery.
So Zama going to take over 1st and 10 from their 40, which was better than they had at 1st and 10 at our 40. So a net loss of about 20 for them as they take over, but nothing gained, nothing lost. But good opportunity for Kinnick by the wayside. 14-12, Kinnick High School Red Devils against the Camp Zama Trojans with 11 minutes and 45 seconds left in the 4th period of play. And Zama goes into a bit of a different situation here. I formation with the flanker, but read well and stripped away by Ariel Zamora from 39, who just tears the ball from the hands of number 39. Terrence Quinton just ripped it out of his hands. And, John, what do you say about a play like that?
Outstanding play. I don't know that he ripped it or whether it was handed to him.
It looked
almost like it was handed to him.
It was close because the Kinnick defense got into the backfield quick. But I don't think that, personally, I'm not sure that number 8, Marcus Berry, was intended to hand it to Zamora. I formation, Soriano the deep back, Engstrom the near back. Ayers gets ready to throw, looks deep, rolling out to the right-hand side, has room, throws the ball, and has a receiver, and that's intercepted off of the shoulder pads of Richard Ball, and still on his feet, and met hard by Matt Engstrom.
What a hit.
Oh, my God. Tremendous hit by Matt Engstrom.
So now we've seen, unbelievably, 4 turnovers on 4 plays.
Yep.
And it still is a net difference of loss of 25 for Zama, if you really want to get down to it. I mean, they're back in their own end, and they got the win that they got to contend with. So I think Kinnick is not happy about the turnovers, but they're happy about the field position. Is hustling off the field in a hurry is Brad Warner. And that pitch goes deep, and that's to number 32, chased by Mike Calhoun, doesn't make the tackle out to the 50-yard line. Ball's on the ground again, and the Kinnick Red Devils come up with that. And that's going to go the Kinnick way, as the officials are saying that is Kinnick's ball. And 5 for 5 on turnovers, if you can believe it. And really a mistake-free game by both sides until now, where we have collective 5 turnovers in a row. And I can't believe I've ever called it.
I don't think so. Let's put a stop to this right now, though. We've got the ball. Let's take it.
Okay, so
Score
it goes
that clinching
first and 10
touchdown.
for the Kinnick Red Devils from their own 48-yard line. And with just a little over 11 minutes left in the period, we've seen 5 penalties in the last 1 minute of play, or 5 turnovers in the last minute of play.
Well, as Gary said when he came up here, it's getting cold out there. Maybe those hands are getting a little cold.
Well, you know, that is part of it. That
Yeah.
has to be part of it, no question. Late in the game, getting tired and the ball's cold.
Like a little blitz zone.
That's the I formation. Soriano, the deep back, he's looking out to the near side of the field, has one man to beat and does, but grabs him dry the jersey.
But he
and
held
that's
onto
gonna
the ball.
Yeah, no gain on the play, and so for the first time in the last few series of plays, we've been able to see Kinnick or Zama, either team, hold on to the ball. And that's what high school football is all about, though, don't you think, Gary and John?
Yeah, that's true.
It is. I'll tell you, the wind has nothing to do with that. The turnover situation, I'll tell you, it's just hard hitting on both sides.
Okay, so Kinnick now facing a second down and about 10.5 for the first down. Ian Tyson checks in late. He's got someplace he's got to get to in a real big hurry and does. So to the far side goes Tyson. To the near side looks like Fritz, and it is, and that's a run by Engstrand, who sheds a block and's got room down to the 40-yard line. And had he not been pushed out, he was gone as well. So that goes out at the 39-yard line, and that's going to be a first down for Kinnick High School Red Devils. Is with the wind at their back in the fourth quarter and a 2-point lead. That's what we need, a little ball control.
Yeah, that's a big first down for us.
Well, I'll tell you, Kinnick's moving the ball on the ground well right now, and, with the wind at their back, I don't see them going to the air right now, do you?
Not right now. They'll go to the air a little bit more, but they want to run the clock. They want this game to be over, and they don't need to score to win. They just need Zama not to score.
On that last play, John, did you see the block by Jared Fritz that kind of sprung him around? I thought that was good. To come back in from the receiver position and seal was a good I formation. Ayers looking to throw, rolls out to the right-hand side. Under pressure, still manages to evade, but drugged down, and that's going to be a loss on the play of about 3 yards, and he would have been gone for some big yardage had he not been tackled.
And that's St. Augustine, who's had one heck of a game for Zama. Got to give him credit.
And Daniel Ayers is down. He is getting up very slowly, which means that we're going to probably see a timeout here. And our backup quarterback right now, kind of don't know. Could be Mount Calhoun would be my guess.
Probably Mike Calhoun. Ayers has to come out of the game now.
Yeah, he does. As soon as you get a timeout for a penalty, you got to come out.
It's going to be Calhoun. He's
talking to Barney Rio, who's like, get over here.
Get over here. We are going to change things up here.
Right.
And a big hand for Daniel Ayers, ladies and gentlemen.
And Ayers is kind of favoring an ankle, it looks like, but knowing Daniel, he'll be back. And he had that ankle taped up starting the game, so it's probably a re-injury. But Mike is going to go in there and talk to him a little bit and say, hey, I'm the quarterback now, but we're still going to do something good.
And Mike's a senior. He's got some experience. He hadn't had a lot of experience at quarterback, but he knows what he's doing.
Oh, he's a veteran 4-year starter for Kinnick, so... That ball's handed off to Ponemeyer. Ponemeyer unable to get around the Zama defense. That's going to bring up a long third down. And it'll be interesting to see if they let Mike throw on this play.
They may.
He's got an arm.
Yeah, he's got a pretty good arm.
Yeah, he's not, he's a receiver by trade, really, for the offense. And one of the things as a receiver I can tell you from my high school football days is you throw back to the quarterback a lot, so you learn to throw the ball a little bit anyway.
One of the negatives was Mike throwing is he can't throw to himself.
Yeah, that's
he's one of our better receivers, so
right.
we lose one of our better receivers out there.
I would look for Kinnick to run that three-back formation again. They've had success on it in the first half. I think with the wind at their back, they may go to that again.
It'll be interesting to see what Barney Rio decides to do here. We do know on fourth down that we've got the person that can put the ball deep enough, especially with this wind to back up Zama. Yeah. And realistically, we haven't seen a score go against the wind all night long,
That's
so
right.
no reason
not
to be
even close
stupid.
to a
Yeah,
score.
right.
Yeah.
No reason to be stupid.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, it's been exciting football so far tonight. It couldn't get any better than this. The temperature's just about right for football, not for announcers, but for football players.
Okay, so Kinnick, we actually get to see Bob Stovall come out. He's going to say something to him. I think he's basically going to tell him, hey, look, I don't want 2 losses on the record here, And that's basically his job. He tells you, he defers to offensive and defensive coordinators, and he's just a motivator.
It's going to be interesting to see what Kinnick does here, whether they actually try to go for it or whether it's just going to be a nice little handoff to Soriano on an in sweep or something.
They got 2 out wide.
Okay, I formation, the near side Tyson to the far side ball, and that's going to be a fake.
Inside
Engstrom,
yep.
Engstrom, and he does a good job, and I think that's probably what Stovall went out there and said, hey, look, we're just going to run this up the middle, and then we're going to punt it, and then you're going to hold, basically.
Yeah,
and,
very conservative call, but a smart call.
Yeah, very, very
Give it to a guy that doesn't fumble very much. And
fumble very much, never. I mean,
I think I remember one fumble.
Yeah, you got to basically, he's got to be hit with a bazooka.
Well, you know what? We have just a small break in the action. I'd like to say about the Monster Bingo, the comment earlier about my wife.
Have you reconsidered that one?
Yeah, honey, if you're watching this about a week from now, I was just kidding, okay?
Okay, we got some other things coming up as well. We've got an essay coloring contest that we also want to get out to people. It's going to be open to all SOFA-sponsored personnel, and children ages 10 and under can choose to color or essay portions, and it's a competition. And 2468071 for further details. So if you've got a child prodigy, we want to get that out, especially because Thanksgiving's drawing near. This will be our last Thursday night telecast, as we usually air them on the first Thursday night following the game, and it'll still get it in time for Thanksgiving.
Well, Coach, I wanted to say, you think that was intentional delay a game there, just to burn some clock?
Well, that and back him up 5 yards, because Engstrom can put it in the end zone.
Yeah, he can.
From there.
He can easily nail it, and from there, and that ball's on the ground. And he still gets a nice punt away. And look at how the wind still helps that thing and rolls down. And still gets to the back, actually, on the fly, as he's got some room and coming to the near side of the field. And Soriano trying to chase him and doesn't get to him. And we're going to probably, we almost saw an illegal block, and there comes the flag.
Yep, there's a flag.
It was pretty obvious. I mean, I caught it from right about the 25-yard line. It looked like somebody came in a little behind the shoulder. And we're going to see them back that up 10 yards, and that's what it is exactly. Oh, actually a hold, but same thing.
It looked like Soriano went down hard back there after the missed tackle, and he's favoring that right shoulder right now.
Yeah, he's a warrior. He'll get back out there. And we see Ayers back out there, but still favoring the right leg.
Yeah, he was in there for the punt, but he limped on, and we'll have to watch him kind of carefully, see how long he can go on that ankle.
Okay, for all of those of you that need a little remediation because you do too much like us and watch football and don't get enough exercise, step 1, 2, and 3 with Soleil every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 6 a.m. Free to all active duty personnel. All others need a Fit for Life ticket, which is something that you just need to go out and say you're going to commit to going to the classes. Once you do, you can get these tickets just basically saying that you're going to show up, but it's primarily for the active duty. So if you've been watching too much football like ourselves and need to get some exercise, that pitch goes back, and on the ground it doesn't need to be tackled was the back as he tripped over his own feet. And I didn't see who that was.
Number 6 on the run.
On the run. Gary can get that information for us as he's over there.
Number 6 is
Tremaine Hayes.
Tremaine Hayes.
And Tremaine Hayes, actually, first time you probably called his name tonight, he was injured, actually.
And he's going off the field.
And he's going back off the field, as they said. That didn't work. After midnight, one-on-one basketball tournament. I bring this up because John Leinert may not know about it. November 18th at 2 a.m. on the 4th floor.
Well, I know where I'll be at midnight. I won't be on the floor.
Okay, so back to pass. And that ball that overthrew about the state of Ohio there. So, being as we're in Japan, we can say it was incomplete. Racquetball tournament as well, November 9th through the 13th. This probably won't reach in time, so we'll just nix that. But Turkey Classic basketball tournament, John, you got any part of that?
Do what?
Turkey basketball.
No.
Classic tournament, round robin. Just get all of the slugs you can together because it costs us only $100 per team, but I'll tell you what, they play forever, and it's a good effort. I was out there last year, and I'll tell you what, it was surprising. Naval Security Activity Group almost unthroned the boys, who is basically the Seahawks, and actually did beat them, and because Seahawks went through, with the loss, had to come back and win twice, and brutal.
I understand we've got a golf tournament coming up also.
Yeah, but we won't get this one out in time. Well, we might, yeah, actually. If you want to go golfing the day after you see this first telecast in the morning, we do have a two-man select shot tournament coming up. And I want to tell you, Gary and I have been part of those, and you can't have more fun, I don't think, Gary.
Oh, it's wonderful, I tell you. And if nothing else, just come out and watch Gary chases,
chases 352 dozen golf balls in the woods.
Well, I shot a 72 on the first hole, and it was a tight match.
And we do want to point out that the Saturday following this golf tournament is free golf ball collection day on the Atsugi Golf Course following Gary's round. Get a free dozen golf balls by not working very hard the following day.
We're not talking about any of them scrub golf balls either,
Brand new. Gary spares no expense.
That's right.
Zama Trojans again getting ready to line it up on second down and about 7. And then they spread formation and looking to the center of the field, and that's going to go to me if I could get out there. Ian Tyson, the closest receiver, and unfortunately for Zama, he plays on the other side, so no one in the ballpark. And he's trying to throw that so hard against the wind. I think that's just one of the toughest passes, is to try and gauge a gust.
Yeah, it's hard to judge throwing against it. Brings up a big fourth down. Kinnick's going to get great field position here again.
Back deep is a super sophomore for Kinnick, game-winning touchdown pass last week is Ian Tyson, explosive running back. And we're going to get a chance to see him receive this ball if it even gets near him.
Get to him.
And that's blocked, but it's still a live ball. And that's a first down.
No, it's not. No, it's
not. It's going to be Kinnick takes over on a change of possession there. But Kinnick will take over first and 10 from there, but it was a nice effort nonetheless.
Heads-up play by Zama there to catch that in the air and try to advance
it. He can still advance the ball, but he cannot change possession. But he can score a touchdown. One of those not normal plays. So he could go all the way and still score, but not do anything with it. So.
Well, I'll tell you, Kinnick, even off a bad punt like that, that's pretty good field position for Kinnick. And what are they on, about the 26?
With the wind, and this is how we saw him, John, in the first quarter of play, where they got their first score, is he just basically said, we're going to stuff you just as deep as we can get you, and then we're going to score on you.
Yeah, both their scoring drives are, 30 yards or less.
Right.
Yeah.
Kinnick's going to get a timeout. Looked like Calhoun was confused, and we may have seen a flag beforehand. They're taping up Daniel Ayers on the sideline. We see Richard
Warner there.
Warner there, yeah. That's who it is. I want to make sure he's got his back turned to me, but it is Richard Warner taping him up. But we may not see him back. If Kinnick can score here with Calhoun, we won't see him back, is my guess.
I wouldn't think so.
Ian Tyson checks in. We're going to get another play here, and checking out is Jared Fritz, who has done a good job tonight. So we are down to 7-10, and Kinnick with the 2-point lead, and really a kind of a treacherous 2-point lead here, as anything can happen. Mike Calhoun getting ready to take the snap in the I formation. He hands to the second back through. That's Soriano. Soriano unable to break free, and he's been really keyed on, John. That's one of the things that Zama did when we were at Zama. And Gary, you were at that game. They keyed on Soriano, but you know who had success in that game was like when they could hand off to Engstrom when he was coming from the flanker position, things like that. And we might see a little bit more of that. We've kind of gotten away with it, gotten away from it a little bit, but I think it wouldn't surprise me to start seeing people go in motion and take handoffs. Jared Fritz to the near side, to the far side. Richard Ball Ponemeyer, the deep back, and Engstrom forward to him. Calhoun takes it looking to throw, and they don't think he's going to do that, and he does, and he's got an open man, but hit immediately, but still a nice catch was Ariel Zamora, and we don't see Ariel Zamora coming out of the backfield enough from that flanker position.
Yeah, that was a good catch by Ariel. He paid the price. Good hit from number 39, who, along with St. Augustine, has keyed Zama's defense tonight.
Nonetheless, we've got a third down and about 3 yards for the first down, and this is probably one of the better efforts that we've seen so far the second half from Kinnick, is their 14 points are still standing from the first half of play.
Well, it was outstanding. He held on to that ball as hard as he was hit over there on the side.
Oh, he got a lick, and we're going to get a timeout. And this is, I didn't see if it was Zama, but I think it was, I think our set confused him a little. Barney Rio going to talk to the troops and going to give us a chance to talk about a couple of other things. I want to just mention a few things, is that if you're a football fan and you like the excitement, and hopefully you've seen the CFA 7 broadcast, and hopefully I personally haven't butchered them up too much. I know John does a great job, but I'm not going to say too much about myself. If you like that and you like John Leinert broadcasting games, let me tell you, you need to watch Kinnick basketball, but more importantly, you need to get out to the gym this fall, because this is going to be the most exciting season of Kinnick basketball in recent memory. And I've been here off and on for many years, John, and I got to tell you, the excitement and the anticipation of this season is really, really high.
Well, you know, with the change, girls basketball going on at the same time, and then wrestling, Kinnick's actually going to be favored, I think, to win all three sports this year. Definitely in boys, girls, and wrestling, I know is going to be favored to win the contest. So it's going to be a great winter season for Kinnick sports.
We're looking forward to that, and what we want to tell you is that on Friday night, Monday night, Tuesday night, whenever we have games, get in that gym. It's no different than basketball in Kentucky or North Carolina. It gets nuts. It's excellent. You got to get behind it. I know I get excited anyway.
Well, I'll tell you, we're really looking forward to that. And it's coming up here pretty soon, so stay tuned.
Okay, so Kinnick back on offense, facing a third down and short, about 3 yards to go on the third down, in a power I formation with three back set. And don't see this very often, but we're going to go with it now. But looking to throw out of it is Calhoun, and that's incomplete, actually. It was on the ground. Calhoun had Richard Ball fleeing to the end zone and was unable to see him, and that would have been the most easy 6 in the world as Richard Ball. I was closer to Richard Ball than the defense. So
yeah, but Calhoun was under a pretty big rush. In fact, he was hit as he threw that ball. So it's going to be fourth down.
Just hoping, you know.
Well, I'll tell you what, if I was Kinnick right here, and of course I'm not the coach, I believe I'd hold this ball on the ground and go ahead and run it out there. Just a little bit too close for a punt.
They're going to go for it. Yeah, you can bet on that. If you're a Kinnick fan, you'll know that. And again, the power I formation, one wide out, though, is looks like ball to the wide out. Calhoun to throw with time, has some room. Jared Fritz trying to pull it in. It doesn't. Same thing as a punt, though, if they can get him out. And they don't. Oh!
Nice hit.
Jared Fritz, the intended receiver, comes back and makes a big lick along with Phil Fitzpatrick. And also looks like Mark Zamora as well was in on that tackle. I mean, he got a few yards, but boy, he was hating it when he did.
And we've got a Zama player down.
Yeah, that's not surprising.
Well, I'll tell you what really surprised me.
Whenever you reverse direction like that and you become a blocker instead of an offensive lineman or a lineman, some problems can happen, especially on that line of scrimmage, and that's about where the line of scrimmage was.
Well, what surprised me on that play, Rob, is the guys were all over him downfield on that pass reception. I'm surprised the flag wasn't thrown on that. Mm-hmm. They were all over our receiver, but maybe the just.
Well, it was kind of thrown up. It was really like a jump ball.
Yeah, it really is.
3 Zama guys there, 1 Kinnick guy. They were all going for it.
Had it been a one-on-one situation, I think you're right, Gary. They would have thrown a flag. But with the 3 defenders in the area, no way. So Kinnick facing it here late in the going with 6:03 to play in the fourth period, up by 2. Got to stop the Zama Trojans to maintain a undefeated Kanto Plain season. Back to pass with a nice throw and a nice effort. That's going nowhere, though. And actually Richard Ball and both Ariel Zamora, Ray Ponemeyer on some good coverage there. So
they had good
that's
coverage,
kind of a risky throw against the wind, I think.
Yeah, it's a long throw. I'm surprised they're going so long. I would go with the short passes, especially over the middle like that.
And plenty of time, John. You don't abandon the running game with 5:50. Now, we're not trying to give them secrets to beat our guys here, but
they won't see this till well after the game. So.
I'm just, good karma. But, yeah, I agree with you. I think the short passing game and just the, kind of the play-action type pass short, if you can. Okay, Zama, and that isn't a play-action. And face. He had his arm.
Way up, play that ball.
Oh, and caught accidentally.
It was number 80 there and 82, and it was like they both kind of bobbled.
Well, and it wasn't intended for either one of
no,
them.
it was intended for a guy 15 yards further downfield, but that ball just hung in the air and
the ball
came
was
down.
blocked. As a matter of fact, somebody got a hand on it.
Yeah, Jared Fritz, who's coming off, hurt his hand actually coming in on the rush, and he's hurting, and he's coming to the sideline. And Mike Murphy now is facing a bit of a test here as Zama refusing to go away with 5 minutes left in the game. Now that play, let's face it.
that was luck, and it went against us that time.
That luck went totally against us, and Kinnick's going to regroup here. And a huge sack! Ponemeyer in untouched and just creams number 8 Marcus Berry and nails him for a huge loss on the play. And I think Ray was upset that Marcus was so lucky on the last play. He was going to make him pay.
Well, somebody dropped the ball on that block. I tell you what, welcome to Berkey Field. He had his face down in there now.
Yeah, Ray was blitzing and nobody picked him up. Came from the backside. Quarterback never saw him coming.
Yeah. Ray wanted to give him a piece of the championship there. So that's going to bring up, it's going to be about second down and, well, you call it 20 is my guess.
Yeah, about 20.
Spread formation for the Zama Trojans as they get ready with the single wide out in the flanker position, and again facing a rush of Zamora and Ponemeyer, both of them balls on the ground. Who got it? Looked like Camp Zama got it.
Yep.
But now they're facing third down, and boy, I don't know. We had a big farm where I was from, but we didn't have that much land that we had to plow through. So we're looking at about third down and 30 is my guess here.
Well, I'll tell you what, the reason I think that Kinnick's blitzing right now was only because of the wind situation on the field.
Sure, they can afford to.
Every single time.
Sure, they can afford to.
Back.
And give credit to Mike Murphy because he knows exactly the situation Zama's in, and he's not going to give him anything. And look how deep that you see. And now this is just a third down, and look how deep Tyson is to protect the score here. So, and that's a pitch out, and that doesn't fool anyone. And actually, flea flicker again.
Pass.
He lets it go.
It's up for grabs.
Soriano with his 9th interception of the year, and he's a magnet for the ball, and this is the best thing that could have happened here to Kinnick because it just takes away the threat. And it was a nicely designed play by Zama. Let's give him credit, except you don't want your wide receiver having to throw the ball 40 yards against the wind, John.
Yeah, that's a tough throw. And I tell you, Kinnick's getting banged up here. I just noticed 63 just barely can make it back on the field.
Yeah.
Going in on offense.
And 63 is J.J. Samar. Unfortunately, it's the last game of the year because he's the center. Yeah. And I want to give it up to him a little bit because he's played as a sophomore and
he's been tough all year.
In a very tough position, in a tough position to play as a sophomore. So Mike Calhoun in the I formation, and Kinnick is going to do nothing but run the ball. And that time intended for Soriano did get the carry, but Kinnick is just trying to protect their area of the field, I think, more than anything else, and not give Zama something to capitalize on.
Well, they just want to run the clock. If they have to punt, that's okay. Zama's not going to have good field position. They're not going to have much time.
I'm kind of surprised that Zama threw like that on that play. I was like y'all in the beginning. I think they should have stuck to maybe short outs and running the sidelines, but they went for it all and
fooled no one really. Calhoun rushes ahead, and he plays Daniel Ayers for a moment as he's going to get ahead, and it's going to bring up about a third down and 9 yards as he's able to get ahead for a couple of yards on the play.
Kinnick coaching staff made a decision. They're playing Ayers on defense, but they're keeping him out on offense right now.
And I think that's wise because you do need to have him be somewhat mobile. And let's face it, Mike is a headstrong player. Calhoun's not going to give up anything stupid. He's going to play very intelligently, and we saw that when he came in against Misawa when they came down. Yeah. Remember, he came in at the end of the game, and he did a good job, made a couple of smart plays. Calhoun takes the snap, hands off to Engstrand, who bobbled it a little bit, but still manages to get ahead for a little bit.
Good second effort.
It was a good second effort by Engstrand, and they're probably going to punt here as with 2:12, 2:11 and the clock ticking. They're going to make Zama earn it, I think, against the wind.
Yeah, that's going to be real tough. As you know, nobody's really moved the ball against the wind very much. I think deepest penetration been 48-yard line or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we had it on there 29.
That's true.
That's
true.
where we.
did,
But
yeah.
that was after.
Well, we got the ball on there.
Right. Right.
32 or something.
Right. Exactly. So
Kinnick's going to take their time here, and I think they probably will accept a delay a game penalty here.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, look at Calhoun. He's acting like he's going to go for it. Yeah. You're going for it, and here comes Engstrom. Yeah. Okay. Now, here's what we're really going to do.
Yeah, they just wanted to run another 25 seconds off that
Okay,
clock.
plan B. I'll tell you what. If it was me as the coach with 1:39 left, I'd fake the punt right now. I would.
Critical juncture here. Now, Ayers is a snapper, long snapper for these punts. So this is a critical thing. Gets it back nicely. Oh, couldn't do any better. Couldn't have wrote the script better myself, as that's going to roll out at the 20-yard line.
Yep.
And actually, that ball came free, and that was a poor decision by Zama to try and land on it there.
I think he's trying to pick it up and make something happen, knowing that their own real shot was to get some sort of return on this.
Right.
At least he had presence of mind to knock it out of bounds.
Well, I'm going to tell you this, and I'm just a casual observer. He would not be getting the ball the next time.
Yep. Well, I guarantee you this. He'll sit on the bench the rest of the season.
And what Mr. Sink is alluding to here is with a minute 20 to left and a 2-point lead by the Kinnick Red Devils, Zama is really up against it, facing a very, very stiff wind here. And we're happy to bring you the action tonight. We're happy to try and support our team to go undefeated in the Kanto Plain. But, hey, with a minute 20, anything can happen. And you know Zama would like to duplicate their feat from a couple of years ago.
Oh,
so
absolutely.
nothing's done yet. And there's a short pass, as you were talking about, but does not get out of bounds, which is a poor decision.
That's true.
So the clock didn't even start.
Now it did.
Well,
let's
everybody's
win.
in
Well,
Hey,
got a little
we're
break
the
here.
home team.
Let's
We're
give-
the home team here.
I want to give credit to the members of the ad hoc pep band that was assembled today to be out here to support the team. Band couldn't make it, and so I don't know who organized it. I think John Wiley might have. He's the one that called our house looking for Katie to play. Trying to get some members up here to come out and support. And they're still here with less than a minute left in this game.
We're going to get a timeout with 56 seconds. I also want to talk about the fact that we've got two new scorekeepers up here today. And they give them credit. Don't know their names, but they're doing a good job, because until just a minute ago we didn't even notice they were here, which is perfect. Perfect. So give them credit there, as we had our normal timekeeper
Wasn't able to make it.
Wasn't able to
Yeah,
make
due
it
to
today.
illness, yeah.
Yeah, a little illness, but that's okay.
Yep.
Wish him the best. And now, as you see, now this is good. JJ was going to come in and replace Ayers, both of who have bad ankles.
Yeah.
So now the coach said, no, both of you come over to the side. We'll get somebody else in here. It's not that important. And I think that's probably good that they had Daniel in there earlier, but you don't want to get beat on something right now.
That's
where,
right, yeah.
Somebody else might have been able to catch up with them.
We'll
Okay,
see that.
so Kinnick Red Devils with 56 seconds left, and it's about second down and 9 yards. Oh, I call it 7 yards to go, which is the yardage is immaterial. It's basically second down and 83 yards to go here, or 78 yards to go here. As Zama needs to put points on the board to win this game, and they're nowhere close and facing a stiff wind.
It's going to be tough for them.
You can still see the wind blowing the jerseys back on these kids, the sleeves of the jerseys. So still very stiff. And looking to throw, and got hit. And actually, that was Ariel Zamora that got in there and got into his arm before he could throw. And unfortunately, Marcus Berry had nothing he could do there. So going to bring up a third down. And 53 seconds as they stop the clock on the incomplete pass. And that's the only advantage of that.
Yeah, I don't know if Zama has any more timeouts left or not.
I don't know. I think they've used 7. So, I mean, how many do you get?
I'd like to have seen them run a draw play or something to try to do something here, but they'd have to have a timeout to do that.
Yeah, they would. And another pass that's going to fall short is that. Look at that. How many people were brushing the ball? 5 people in on the passer.
Incredible.
Kinnick knows that they're going to throw the ball, and if they're sending everybody.
Yeah.
So,
That's why, a little draw play or a little misdirection, a little something trickery there might work. Better than trying to throw it downfield 30 yards.
Even on that draw play, though, you got to be able to get the ball to the quarterback, and they're not even having much luck with that right now as Kinnick is just blowing through there. They've got their ears pinned back. Mike Murphy's going to talk to Matt Engstrom here as it looks like Zama's going to take one more timeout.
Well, they got a player down.
Oh, do they? Well, that's still going to be a timeout or a penalty, isn't it? Doesn't it cost them something here?
No, not if he's injured.
If he's really injured. I thought with under 2 minutes they had a rule, but...
Well, I don't know.
We don't know in high school.
Not as a good coaching ploy if you're out of timeout. Anyway.
I'm hurt.
Well, it was an incomplete pass anyway, so the clock would have stopped.
Yeah, the clock would have stopped. It doesn't matter. Yeah.
I'll tell you, if I don't get a chance to, because we do have 49 seconds left, appreciate y'all having me up here. Always enjoy being on CFA 7 television.
Division of your MWR.
You've got that right. And I'll tell you, John and Rob, it's been a wonderful night. Kinnick football this year, outstanding. What can we say? And looking forward to the basketball season.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Okay, so we're going to get back to it here. 49 seconds left.
What a tough spot
facing
for the backup
a
quarterback.
very, very long fourth down. Still got to try and go for it. And Ariel Zamora's got him and going to sack him, and Kinnick's going to take over the ball there. And this victory is all but sealed for the Kinnick Red Devils as you see J.J. Samar trying to limp out there. And that's the effort we've seen all year from these Kinnick Red Devils.
That's right.
All heart, all guts, going to get out there to get these victories. And they're going to come away with an 8-1 season. And I have to tell you, John, extremely proud of these guys. I can't imagine just a better performance by the Kinnick Red Devils.
Absolutely. And, the season, I think, really changed in the first Egron game when Egron went out and, blew us out in the first quarter. But Kinnick dug in, held them without a touchdown defensively. They scored on a couple of big play, punt return, interception. And I think that's when Kinnick really came together as a team this year.
They fought their way back from adversity, as John's saying, and right now they're to the victor goes the spoils. Is taking a knee is Mike Calhoun, who got his first touchdown of the year, deservedly so. And your Kinnick Red Devils go undefeated in the Conto Plain. And if you like Conto Plain football action, stay with us because CFA 7 is going to bring you Conto Plain basketball action. And if you see any of these guys out there at the Dunkin' Donuts, at the Pizza Hut, if you see them anywhere on this base, give them a congratulations because the biggest heart in the world lies with these 16 young men as they came through the season with only one loss and are the four-time Conto Plain champions, undefeated in the Conto Plain this year.
Outstanding football.
Outstanding effort by these Red Devils, coaching staff, Kinnick. What can you say?
Just a magnificent year. Want to encourage everybody to come out and continue to support Conto Plain. A lot of these guys will be playing basketball this year. They'll be playing other sports. They'll be wrestling. And I want to tell you something. We got one more. It's the Drive for 5 next year, and we've got a lot of these guys coming back. Still a very young Kinnick team. So stay tuned to next year as Rob Riegel for John Leinert and Gary Sink, as well as Bob Long and our cameraman Skylar Hernstrom. Thank you very much for being with us tonight on CFA 7, and go Kinnick Red Devils.